Gramps. I found a pair of tickets to get into a really exclusive tavern. Maybe we should go check it out. That was where it began. I am Nathaniel Lodi, Kelwar, Umros, Rashik, Tamrin, Elisek, Femris, Zanyar, Orlin, Kazviz, Gadri, Panuzu, Deepback. Or at least, I was. Now, I'm not so sure. This is the story of how my grandfather, two strangers, and myself became something we never thought we would be. Or even could be. How we became more than we were. And, hopefully, how we can become ourselves once again.
Good evening, everyone. I am your GM for today, Morden56. I am running the Exacted Spirits campaign, episode, I don't remember at this point. I'm sorry. I think it's episode 6.
It's 6 or 8. It's somewhere in there.
Yep. My fun fact for today was over the last, say, 2 weeks, because I think we missed last week, and if we didn't, it's been a week. I have made something along the lines of 12 NPCs for these people to deal with, and I absolutely know that only like 2 of them are going to get used. Problems of being a GM.
Yeah. All right. My fun fact. Let's see. Billy. This. Let's just go ahead and ruin it. In Billy's adventures, he has, in fact, killed a young dragon with nothing but an axe.
Nice. Thank you for the sub.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Sakarax, and I'm replaying Sokoran today, who is now... Am I still a Goliath? No? Okay. So, the Tiefling, now half-orc wizard, which is so weak that you could breathe on him and he would collapse. The fun fact is that he's always with his trusty drum, and Dalton wanted to remove it, but he hid it, but you don't want to know where.
Good Nathan.
Hi, everybody. I am W. Adam Clark, the second class elitist. I will be playing tonight because I want to do the whole name for once, just for once.
All right.
I will be playing Gnathan Lodi, Sindri, Kelwar, Umrush, Rashik, Amin, Elisek, Femeris, Zanyar, Orlin, Gazviz, Gadri, Panuzu, Deepback. And my fun fact for today is that while my character desperately wants to go back to being a gnome because he misses being a gnome, he has actually developed quite an attraction to not being short during his time as a drow, because people treat short races different than they treat tall races.
You're always a kid when you're a short race.
And now that he's not a short race right now, he likes being treated like he's a tall race. And that single-handedly will be the rationale for something really, really dumb that he's going to be doing in probably another 4 levels.
Is this the thing you're going to be asking Dalton for help with?
I mean, I have almost half of what I need already. There's only a couple little pieces, and now we have somebody from that world, and that makes it so much more exciting.
All right. And my name is Minor. I am currently playing the GIF Monk Monarch.
Where's this GIF?
Yes, we don't know.
Or, it's GIF, or sometimes
Hypaxi Monk.
Yes.
Hypaxi Monk.
Hypaxi.
That's my bad. Currently, my fun fact is, once upon a time, Monarch was part of a particular organization that may come into play a little bit further into the story, but I'm keeping things close to the chest at the moment. There's a particular organization that they were part of. All right.
And does anybody remember what happened last time?
I have notes. We talked to a bunch of NPCs for the first half of the session. The second half, we escorted David and Krog via cart through the forest to the town of Shell's Landing. We got attacked by some very inexperienced bandits who we sort of just slapped and said, "Go away and think about what you've done." Except the go away was death. We captured their leader and have currently got them hogtied on the cart, and we've made it to Shell's Landing.
I was about to say, what is this? You sent them away.
Go away and think about
Send
what
them
you've
away to
done.
death.
Except you can't go away because you're dead, and you also
Go
can't
to your
think
room,
'cause
and the
you're
room is
dead.
death.
Oh, it hurts so good.
I also want to mention, my name is Kane Vellante. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was
It's all good.
That's all right. It says
It's
it right
all
under your
good.
face. They'll get it.
You were too busy summoning Billy by saying his name 3 times in a
Billy.
bathroom at night.
Yep.
If any of you are
Billy
W3
Hilbert,
fans,
Billy
you'll
Hilbert.
appreciate the Billy.
Yeah.
If you're not, you have no clue what I'm talking about.
Pistol
All
comes from
right.
here.
So, are you just hog-tying him and throwing him into the back, or are you talking to him now? Because at the moment, I believe he's still unconscious. Because you basically battered him to like nothing and just went, and now you're mine.
I stunned him on the first round, and then I tied him up because he failed Dex and Strength saving throws automatically. So he wasn't
Yeah.
unconscious even. He was just
Yeah,
bloody.
being down. I think we just put him in the cart.
Yeah, I just
Right.
tossed him in the car.
Hand him.
Okay,
I'm just
so
like, this is mine now. Yeet.
I've been playing the drum next to his head like for the entire duration of the journey.
yeah, for basically the rest of the day, because it's gonna be night by the time you get here. I'm just not making the map dark because it's not important.
Who cares? Yeah.
Because it takes them roughly a full day. You could get there faster if you want to, but you can also get there slower if you're trying to be safe.
Time is a weird soup.
Time is a weird soup. Just watch out for the carrots.
Mm.
The carrot.
So as you are coming up the road, you see the forest opens up. You see fields that look like they have just recently been harvested. They are not. There is no grain or whatever was being planted there. Just outside of the walls, it does look like it is 4 fairly large fields. Probably a little bit larger than what you saw from. Well, actually, not fairly large. Excuse me, not that size. It's actually even larger than that. Probably the field that David and Holly had together would make up one of those squares. So these are
Gotcha.
actually pretty large fields. It's most likely it's more likely than not has multiple families doing the field work on them. But at the moment, everything is clear because it's basically dusk. Like you're like a few more minutes and it's going to be dark enough to where they probably wouldn't have let you through the gate if you weren't with David and Croc.
Well, then
Good.
we should hurry up then.
Indeed.
The walls for Shell's Landing are stone. You will notice that actually even the farmhouse that you're passing to get to Shell Landing is also stone. The gate is fairly large and does have a portcullis. There is no moat or anything there. It just has the drop down with 2 large wooden doors that swing closed as well. At the front of the gate, You guys are not actually harassed, but like I said, yeah, it's more likely than not it's because they know that the shipment from Dunwick is coming, and they are familiar with
Well,
David. and
we're
Croc.
not harassed, but that's because the player characters haven't opened their f***ing mouths yet. I'm sure it'll happen shortly.
Yeah, there
We
is
get
that
strange
too.
looks because of just how eclectic our group is.
Oh yeah, I mean,
We have
you
a
absolutely
robot,
hear the guard.
We have a robot, a Goliath, a hippo. I don't think that.
It's a half orc at the moment, not a Goliath, but
He's
yes,
at work.
Oh, he changed back.
Yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't
he
make
only
it any
stays for
better.
like that for one session.
Okay.
But it's okay. These things can change very quickly.
Currently, I feel like I feel that some cards are going to be played soon.
But
That's
as you come up to the gate, the guards that are standing there, there are two outside. They walk up to David and Krog. They recognize them. They ask them a few questions. They verify that you guys are safe to come into the city with because yes, as you put it, you are a fairly rare, and in some cases they have no idea what the heck you are race.
I'm told that I am a hippo.
Epaxy.
Hypaxi.
Bless you. And I guess you guys can go in and just don't cause any trouble.
No, of course. We
We
won't.
have.
bother you.
I pull up the bandit captain. We've captured a bandit on the way here. Where would we drop him?
You
Perhaps you can tell
can.
us where a bounty is, by chance. And I don't know if you want me to roll any charisma.
If he does indeed have a bounty, yes.
I mean, if he has one, you could try seeing if it's at the guild hall. He points you a little bit further. He points you up the street. It's one of the largest buildings before you hit the cathedral. But in all likelihood, not likely because we don't normally have bandits. And as for where you can leave them, you probably should just leave them with us. We'll take care of them
Okay.
because we have a few places to put him inside the wall. No, we're not putting him under the wall. We're not like those people from across the river.
People from across the river.
Yeah, there's a couple of towns that were across the river that had this amazing idea of building a wall, and as people died, they threw them under it.
That's not structurally stable.
And that's what I said, but I wasn't there, and this was hundreds of years ago.
Well, that's strange. A wall.
Could you have
is-
been there if it was hundreds of years ago?
I'm human. I don't live that long.
Well, that's why I was questioning it because I swear I heard the
If the wall
comment in
is still
there.
there after hundreds of years ago, it might be quite well built.
If that wall is still standing, I don't know because I've not left from around this area ever. I've
Yeah.
never had to.
He's been manning this wall for the last couple hundred years.
It's potentially just a local rumor.
Like I said, we don't do that here. Some people think it's funny and ask that question because that was a rumor at one point.
What kind of places would you recommend us travel to and go visit here in the city?
Well, when it becomes light again, there are a couple of places you can go.
Is there an inn that we could rent some rooms at? Because I mean, my grandpa's old and he needs to find a bed before he shrivels up into a prune. Dalton can't turn people into prunes, can he? Because that would be difficult to
I
move.
think that we want to test that theory.
I agree.
No.
I don't recommend whoever that was turn anybody into anything. I'm pretty sure that's illegal here.
I don't think that's going to stop him.
Illegal to turn people
Yeah,
into
unless you
prunes.
can open a portal to wherever he is. Good luck with that.
Well, technically we can.
We're very
I mean, if we're talking portals here, you want to go to Gunner University. They'll probably have something.
Gunner University, you say? Okay. Might get some answers there.
But speaking of that, because you asked about an inn, you go through the gate and follow the road south. You will run through Gunner University and then run into the Guild Row. In the Guild Row, there is a tavern, not a tavern, excuse me, an inn there, right near the brewery that you could stay at. Or you could go across follow the road, just keep going straight on the road past the cathedral, and go towards the Merchant's Quarter. There is another inn over there. That inn is a little bit more expensive, but you are going to get better rooms.
What are the names of the inns, respectively?
The one in Guild Row is just called... Excuse me, sorry about that. The one at Guild Row is just called Guild's Row Inn because it was put up after they put all the guilds up. The one in the Merchant Quarter is called the Jade Rabbit. And I'll leave it to you to figure out why.
Because out front there's a rabbit made out of jade.
Maybe.
Rabbit. I like that.
That was the rabbit.
You know, I would like to stay at the Jade Rabbit, I think, but if cost is a matter of contention with you guys, then we can stay wherever.
Well, I'll tell you what. We can swing by the Jade Rabbit first and see how expensive these guys think expensive is, because that varies from place to place. And if we can afford it, we'll stay. And if not, then we'll go down to something else. But right now, I'm pretty sure we can afford expensive.
Just a couple points of order, and I'll turn towards David and Krog. Firstly, it's fine to leave the bandit with the guards, yes?
David looks over at you and says, I mean, it's what I would have done.
All right. Just hand the bandit captain over to the guards. I imagine that with my Hypaxi strength, I'm able to just lift him off the cart and put him down for the guards.
Yeah, you're strong enough to where you're picking him up is not super taxing. Because you're strong, but you're not like super strong. You're not sitting there going one-handed, just handing it to him. You're picking him up with both hands, but you're not straining while doing it because he's probably about like 200 pounds, 250 pounds. So like with everything on him.
And then the second point of order is, how long do we expect to be staying in town? Because that also affects how long we're going to be renting the room.
Me and Krog were expecting to get a room for the night after we dropped the card off at the Merchant's Quarter and pick the card up and speak with Mary. Speak with Mary in the morning. So probably leaving tomorrow, assuming we get everything unloaded.
Would the two of you like to stay at the Jade Rabbit tonight, just for funsies? Because I'm pretty sure you probably haven't ever before, and I can cover it.
I mean, I've never been to the Jade Rabbit, so
all right. It sounds like a party then.
I do want to say to the bandit captain, I want to come up to him. Normally, I'm a little taller, but I will present myself as if I was tall, and I'll say, you're very lucky. The rest of your friends didn't end up in your didn't get to keep their lives.
A wee bit tongue-tied, are we?
I am tongue-tied, but sure.
I know Billy's not. It's fine.
Yeah.
The captain's just kind of glaring at you. He's not saying anything. Because unfortunately in Billy's current form, he's not physically imposing, so he's not scary in that sense. Now, if you sat there and shot another firebolt at him right now, he'd probably be a little scared.
I think this is intentionally intimidation. It's just kind of a matter of fact thing. It's just what Billy does. and then before he leaves, he will say like, to be fair, I did try to shout for them to run. A little late on that. Anyway, and he will, just leave with the rest of the team.
So, the bandit captain. I'm not saying like the bandit captain is absolutely not like hard nosed. Like I'm not afraid of anybody. Like he's actually is afraid, but like I said, Billy right now doesn't look physically intimidating, so he's not reacting in straight fear from you. But he's also like, I'm being handed over to the guards. This is not good right now.
Probably
Oh,
also
we can
nervously
make him
looking at the
fear.
hippo that ran over and punched the heck out of him.
Right, like he's a little bit more afraid of the fact that the gift just lifted him out of the cart and handed him to the other guy without really having any issues doing it.
I agree. I also scored I think I got a 10 on that intimidation, so yeah, that makes sense. Checks out.
Did you roll an intimidation? Because if you did, I missed it.
No, I got a 10 last game, and in the
Gotcha.
middle.
Oh yeah, in the middle of the fight, yeah. You got the 10 there, which most of them had passed their test on that, but that was separate. If you were trying to intimidate him, you absolutely can roll for it.
Oh no, I'm not trying to right now. I will let that other roll stand for that. That's fine. We can. I don't want to take too much time on it.
That's fine. Going through the town, much like with the outer walls, you are seeing that most of the construction, at least to some level, is stone. A lot of the buildings start at stone on the top level. Bottom level. Excuse me, and then for like floors going up, they are becoming more wood.
Makes sense.
Very classical human-esque medieval construction.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything like too crazy. You're not seeing like dwarven construction or anything like that. The only exceptions for like the walls you will see towards the shipyards on the map here are the two walls blocking the shipyards off. Those two are actual wooden like palisade style walls. They're more just to keep people from stealing the supplies than actually anything else.
Just so that I don't flub my words, they're the Dark Block and the Ilindar shipyards.
The Lindar shipyards. The Y is silent in this case, but yes.
Ilindar. All right.
I will briefly stop when I see the cathedral, and I will kind of see what kind of religion is being that might.
Roll a religion check.
Good luck. Oh, that's right. I'm not playing Billy, so he might know. Let's see. Or I'm not playing that other build. The other build. Let's see. All right. Let's go with that. No.
You have no idea what the religions are in here. It's you will see that the church, the cathedral has a lot put towards it. It is a large Gothic style cathedral. So whoever created this put a lot of money into making it look good. There are like alcoves that have different statues in it, so it doesn't look like this is devoted to a single god. It just looks like it is devoted to the gods.
Interesting.
So
But
it's a pantheonic cathedral.
Got it.
basically yes.
Yay!
Okay.
Like there's a large altar at the end, like the straightaway going right to the back. There's a large altar in the back, but the rest of it is just the alcoves for the different statues where people can go to pray if they want to, or they just pray.
Do we see Father Fire Ganassi?
You do. You do see Father Fire Genasi.
I've always wanted to play one of those.
If you step inside, Father Fire Genasi is not at the actual altar. He is standing at the below it because the altar is raised off the ground.
Mhm.
There are There's probably about 10 steps or so, above the ground level. I'm using air quotes here because there's more steps coming up to the cathedral.
Right.
Because the cathedral is fairly large and raised.
To account for the undercroft and all that.
Exactly.
I'm not particularly religious, but I did have my faith rooted in gods of the sun. So I might check. I might.
Well, the last time I went into a cathedral, I started playing the drum and they threw me out.
Oh yes, most cathedrals don't really, unless it's to a patron god that represents music. They're not too kind on that.
I do have to admit, I used to not be very religious, but I mean, then I got turned into a cleric last week, and I don't know that that still applies.
You should have looked at your holy symbol.
I was
So-
never particularly devout, but I had my respect for faith, my understanding of it.
My gods, yeah.
So are you guys walking all the way in and all the way up to Father Fire Genasi? Or are you guys just kind of looking in first?
Probably
I
just
looked in
looking
quick.
in.
No
I
one
feel
wants
like
to go
Monarch
in.
is
Okay.
giving a
And-
cursory glance, just
Yeah.
like, oh, these are interesting, but
If anybody
not
else goes in,
proficient.
I will follow them, but I'm not going to be the one that, leads that soiree.
Yeah, I'll
Gotcha.
do that. We'll get to it later, right?
Okay.
That was
Yeah,
my
if
feeling.
you just kind of walk in, you take a quick look around. Like really what you're honestly seeing is you were seeing him at below, like staying at the bottom level, because everybody's kind of getting ready to close shop,
Mhm.
for lack of a better word, because it is pretty late. Just
Right.
bear that in mind. Like you guys came through the gauge just as it was hitting, like the moon was rising, because you got slowed down slightly by the bandits, even though that was only slightly.
Right.
Most of the trouble came from you guys lifting the log out of place to toss it into the river.
I mean, it did also take me a whole 6 seconds to fix the axle.
There was that too. As you are passing by the crossing the bridge, you will see that along the edges of the bridge, they've actually set of like rock walling to try and limit some of the damage, the erosion that the bridge for the bridge in the area around it.
Okay.
This, in the case of just to the south of where you guys are at down here, like some of these buildings, even though you do see the space there, they are actually going directly up against that wall.
Gotcha.
Like you can walk along the wall if you want to. It's big enough. You could probably even drive a cart down it, but it is not advisable because it's not really a walkway. It's one of those things where they weren't going for even; they were just going for protection. You are coming up to the merchant quarter. In the merchant quarter, right now, the main thing you are seeing is just a very large building. David and Krog both point to it. And Krog tells you
That's where we're going to drop off the cart. We'll see Mary tomorrow. She'll go over how much we get paid for this harvest, and she might also be the one you want to talk to about finding a mason for the tower, or at least getting the stone if you need more stone.
All right.
You guys look like you might be able to chop some trees if you need to make other things. Or, you could just talk to Marcus. Marcus could probably make some wood stuff for you. He knows how to do some simple wood stuff.
All right. That sounds like a plan for tomorrow.
If you guys are David would pull up to basically to the corner
Mm-hmm.
on this side of the guild hall.
Mhm.
Because it's basically a guild hall with a bunch of the workshops around it. That's the best way to describe what you're looking at.
Okay.
He would pull up and drop the cart off, and leaves a note essentially with the. Guess you could call him. I guess you could call him a. What's the right word? Wow, I'm stumbling on my own words today. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to use the word busboy because it's not coming to mind what the right word is
Porter.
for. Thank you, Porter. I knew I
Writer.
was. Yeah, thank you, sir. Leave him with the porter. The porter takes the note, reads it over, looks at David and Krog, and says, Mary was really busy right now, but I'm pretty sure that she will be able to see you around midday. Well, if you come back to here, we'll start unloading the cart tomorrow morning. We'll get everything weighed, and Mary will bring the ledger and start getting everything situated.
Sounds like a
True.
plan.
Very well.
Now, from here, because Krog and David have never been there, they're not 100% sure where the Jade Rabbit is. They just know it's in the merchant quarter.
Okay. Is there anyone walking down the street?
Yes.
At the moment, you can absolutely find someone nearby. I mean,
Excuse me, sir. Can you please direct us into which direction we would want to walk if we were trying to get to the Jade Rabbit, which is the place that we're trying to go?
Very awkward if you were
What
asking.
said Jade Rabbit? Directions.
the Jade Rabbit. Jade Rabbit's go to the gate, make a right, and keep an eye and look to the right side of the road.
Go to the gate,
Can't
make a
miss
right,
it.
and look to the right side of the road. Got it.
Wish. Thank you.
So remember.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, go to the gate. Make a right.
Jade Rabbit is the big building right here, so it looks like Billy's already made it.
When
you-
I kind of went a little early.
Yep.
Well, I move
It's all
slower when I'm
fine.
walking for 3 people.
I wasn't
There-
sure if it was.
there is
if
that.
It was this. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the one I was out front of or the one with the green cool diamond on it.
No, that one is a shop that is completely made out of stone, even the roof.
Nice.
And and actually you have dark vision. You'll see that there's engravings on the walls for that shop, but you can't really tell what else is there. Like you see, it looks like this is a house that someone put a lot of time in creating, at least.
All right.
The Jade Rabbit, when you walk into the Jade Rabbit, outside looks fairly common for everything that's around. Same general setup. Stone on the bottom. Second and third floor are made out of wood. This is a 3-story building.
Okay.
When you come inside, what you run into is a herringon.
Ooh.
That is green in color, hence
Oh.
the Jade Rabbit.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but this was one of the tokens that would not load. So
That figures.
That's why I was like, I'm still gonna do it, but I was kind of hoping you'd pick the other one first.
Womp womp.
But
Sorry.
it's okay. The herringon looks at you and goes, "Welcome to the Jade Rabbit. I hope you enjoy your stay. It is getting a little late though."
It is getting
Taps his watch a couple times. You see it spin a little bit, and it gets back to the right time. Well, it's okay though. I still have rooms. Do you guys need a room? Do you want some food? What you looking for?
I like food, but
Have
also we
we
need rooms.
eaten
How much do
today?
your rooms cost?
Yes.
My rooms are the best in town.
We've heard that.
So they're 2 gold a person.
That is pretty expensive.
Not a
The-
problem.
Per person.
My favorite words.
I, in fact, am going to personally splurge for rooms for everyone. Because that's a whole whopping 10 gold. No, 2, 4, 6, 8 rooms.
16.
16
16.
gold.
You see the heron gun and clap his hands together and says, "You are a customer that I like."
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. May I ask after your name?
Oh, that's very impolite of me. My name is Nathaniel.
What?
What?
Oh, your name is also Nathaniel. Because my name's Nathaniel. Well,
was just
part of
about
my
to
name
say
is
that.
Nathaniel. My full name is Nathaniel Lodi Sindri Kelwar Umros Rashik Tamrin Elisek Femeris Zanziar Orlin Kafiz Gadri Panusu Deepak.
You're gonna have to sign that in the ledger, so just can you shorten it a little?
Give me 3 pages. I'll just put Ganathan.
Okay. I don't have such a long name. I'm just Nathan.
Wait, does your name Nathan? Does your name start with a G?
Yeah.
Why
mean,
am I not? Wait, no.
Everything that sounds like an N starts with a G. Didn't you know that?
I don't think that's correct.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Maybe.
Spell
maybe
gnome for me.
Maybe for the Zill, I suppose.
Spell gnome for me. I dare you.
Oh, gnome definitely.
Yeah,
starts
see?
with a G. I remember
Yeah, exactly.
that.
That's how you get the N sound. Is you got to put a G before it, or it doesn't work right.
No, that's only Zill.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but that's okay. I don't need to know. Someone mentioned rooms and
Yes.
food.
Rooms
So what
and
type of food we looking for? I have varying fare from as simple as 2 silvers to about the same cost as the room.
I throw him another 16 gold. I'm like, let's do it. How often do we make it to town?
Fair enough. If
I don't know, but
know
you should show up more often. I'm enjoying this show.
Well, do you have a? Do you have a tribor steak?
Say it one more time.
Tribor steak.
Tribor steak.
Thank you,
yes,
Rose.
A tribal. It's a. I guess it would
Tribal
be
steak. Okay, never mind. I misunderstood.
similar to a cow, really. I suppose.
Gotcha. No, but I do have regular steak.
That would work, I suppose.
I mean,
get it,
as far as I'm aware, my chefs are really good, so I'm pretty sure they could make a steak that might taste similar.
what drinks do you have available?
I have an assortment of wines and ales. I also do have some fruit juices for people who don't like to drink alcoholic. I do have a few people in town who are like that. Oddly enough, at this moment, Krog is the one who raises his hand and says, "Yeah, I want one of those."
Thank you, Rose.
But if you're looking for something specific, I can see if I have a barrel in the back. But for the most part, it's standard fare for this area. We do have 2 breweries here that run most of the ale, and the wine normally comes from. Making sure I got the name right.
I'm sure. Let me think about what I want. I think I would just prefer an ale. I'm a very simple person.
I'd like to try a flight of your ales, if you would be so kind.
A local brewery are always interesting, so I would like to try some of your more exotic ale.
Okay, let's see what we got.
And I would like whichever one you would drink if you were
There
drinking.
is, 3 people asking for it?
Yeah,
And-
I've asked for a flight, so just different types of ales that I can test and see which ones I like.
And I would
Yeah.
like whichever one that you would drink if you were drinking.
Got it. One moment. Let's see what we got here.
But yeah, you said the wine in town came from a certain place.
Yes, I'm sorry. I did get distracted from there. The wine in town was delivered from Illicet, which is the capital of Eason. So the wine was coming from the capital, because we actually don't have anybody who makes wine in the town. Mostly just brewers making a bunch of different ales. But that's okay.
So what
Like I
I'm
said.
hearing is there is a unique money-making opportunity in the area if one of us were to become a vintner.
I mean, yeah, if you make good enough stuff, I might be willing to buy it.
I'll
If not,
keep
you can
that
buy
in
the-
mind.
If not, you might be able to sell it to the Guild Row, and they'll buy almost anything.
I go and I look at our deep-voiced goblin friend, and I'm like, so exactly why haven't you gone into the winemaking business yet?
Me?
No,
No,
our deep-voiced goblin friend.
Deep voice.
Oh, wait, no, it's the deep voiced goblin is.
Frog.
Frog.
Oh, right, Krog.
Yeah.
Duh.
This is why I
I've
haven't
not
been
really
using
had any interest in it. Honestly, I prefer my experiments,
That's
and
fair.
also, I don't want to start asking Holly or David to start making grapes. It's hard to get grapes around here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good reason.
I
Respectfully.
mean, if you're going to travel around or you talk to enough merchants, so you might be able to get seed if you want to try.
Wouldn't
so
it be possible for you to make ale with their wheat and then infuse them with magical properties?
There was a reason I said I like the fact that Phoebe is in town. I mean, have you seen her garden? That
I,
sucker glows.
It's scary.
No, I
The
think
bumble
it's
tree is
better.
hilarious.
maybe I'll have to go see it once we get back then.
I'm
I'll
sure
go.
she'll walk you through there once or twice and see how tips you are by the time you're at the end.
What was the plant that Krog said was in Phoebe's garden?
A bubble tree.
Is that familiar to me?
Because of your race beforehand, no.
No?
You would not. It is specifically a Fey tree. So unless you've gone to the Feywild, you probably have never seen it. Or if you were researching Fey, then yes, you probably could have heard of it. But it's one of those things where unless you've been there, you're probably never heard of it. The party has seen them before. Just to give a brief description, it is a tree for all intents and purposes with regular branches. It's just instead of leaves coming off of it, they are golden bubbles for the most part. There are some with other colors, but each does something slightly different if you were to pop the bubble, which none of them actually did.
Oh, good. Glad we avoided that problem without knowing that.
I mean, you would have actually had to tell me you were going to try and pop a bubble.
That's fair.
What after say probably about 20 minutes, Nathan would lead you guys over to a table and then pull another table over so that you could actually fit all 8 of you at the table. Because most of the tables would only fit about 4, maybe 6 if they just grabbed a couple of chairs.
There's something sobering about watching somebody pull over a table and not watching it fall through the floor and through the ceiling and land where it wants to.
Yeah.
You see
Agreed.
you see the ears do one of those. What?
It's
We've
okay. Don't
had
worry
a
about it.
weird past couple of days.
It's okay. I'm starting to have a weird moment here, trying to figure out what half of you are, but that's okay. Your food should be done shortly. After he pulls after he's got the table set, he walks back to the bar itself, grabs a what is it? He grabs three mugs that brings them over and drops them in front of Monarch, because Monarch was the one that asked for all of the ales. He points at each one and goes, the first one is from the brewery near Guild Row. This one is Dark Tide. The middle one is an import coming from Illicet again. That one is the Rose Petal. You'll notice this one has a pink hue to it. The other one is a very dark ale, and the final one is a it's more of a golden. It would be the correct color if you're just looking at colors. This one, it comes from the brewery around the corner near the edge. Across from the smithy. That one is the. Why did that go away? There it is. That one is the Iron Set brew.
Nice.
Now this is their light. Their light brew. Sometimes their stuff is dark. Sometimes it's not. It all depends on how they brew it. They're a bit more finicky, but they tend to be the better of the three, at least in my personal opinion. That's
Okay.
also that's normally what I drink for my ale. Now, for me, I personally prefer the wine. I really like the wine.
Nice.
So I've got a dark ale called Dark Tide, a pink-hued ale called Rose Petal, and a golden or pale ale called the Iron Set Brew.
Correct.
All right.
Question, sir. Is your fur dyed green, or were you?
Lord,
that-
no! I would never dye my fur.
I meant no offense. I just don't. It's just I'm not used to.
There are lots of strange things in the
There are a
world.
lot of strange things happening.
Hey, we have an epoxy friend now, so I don't find the green.
You know,
Yes,
that's a good
was
any
point.
more strange.
And I look at
Oh,
the
what?
Harangon and I go, "You're from a race that I don't think is one that's normally around here. Do you know what he is?" Pointing back at our Hypaxi friend.
consistently low numbers.
I love
I
it.
love it now.
I don't know. I would sit here and joke say a hippo and gone, but I don't know. But
A Hippengone. Well, you know what? If he gets tired of calling himself a Hypaxi, we'll go with Hippengone.
Kind of like that second one, but
I don't know. I don't know what that is, but that's okay. I also don't know what the golem is either, because the golem, I'm assuming, is not a golem. But that's like I said, that's okay. You're
He's a
what now?
Golem.
He's a warforged. From my, at least from where I'm from. I'm from Corvera normally. It's a realm that's not part of this one. Yes, he's a mechanical man.
I recognize you, my fine fellow, as a Harangon. I'm quite familiar. Pleasure. You may call me Monarch. And I hold out a hand.
pleasure. And he holds out his. He shakes your hand fairly firmly. It's not he's not overly strong or anything like that. He's pretty average. So like if you squeezed hard enough, it'll feel like you're crushing it.
Yeah, no, I'm purposely doing very lightly just because I realized I might be stronger than I used to be.
As you guys have finished this conversation, the waitress and the waiter comes over with plates. In the case for Billy gets his steak like he asked. The rest of you are getting lamb. You are getting a lamb crown because you paid for it. With mint.
Nice.
So it is actually a very good meal. David and Krog are looking at this going, I don't think I've ever had anything like this before. Where do I even start?
No,
Start at the edge of the plate, work towards the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try the Iron Set Brew first.
With the Iron Set Brew, actually, I think we'll do it this way. Roll me d12.
Will do. If I can move my character sheet out of the way.
Don't gray the roll.
9.
So there really was no bad roll. It's just how much you liked the brew. I was just using the d12 as a gauge for it. You for the brew, you like you like the flavor that comes with it, but you're not it's one of those ones you could pass on if you wanted to, but if it's the only thing you got to drink here, you wouldn't have any problem. Because with it, I do not have the descriptors of their strength. Sorry, being a bad GM today.
That's okay. One of us had to be.
I also noticed that after I typed out all of those notes for all of the peoples, I ended up deleting them by accident.
I've done that.
Oh no.
So half of that is me trying to remember my own notes. But the ale itself is a pale ale, like you guessed. It is a little citrus, a bit citrusy. It does have a slight metal tang to it, but you're not sure if that's coming from them using a metal in the brew or if that was from the barrels that they used or what.
Okay. I'll try the rose petal next.
All right, give me another d12. For one reason or another, you absolutely love this one. This one, for some reason, is the brew for you. Might be because it seems to be the most elegant of them all. Being maybe being the import coming from the capital, having been brewed probably by a better distillery than what they have in the area, but you find this one to be amazing. You're not sure why, but it just tastes like bliss for you.
Nice.
I have ideas of why. And then I'll finish with the Dark Tide. Would you like me to roll another?
Yes, please.
All right.
I did not notice I hadn't hit the foot pedal. My bad.
Meanwhile, I just really quick want to roll to see if it tastes similar to what I have in Hebron.
That's an 8.
Okay.
So it's slightly less than the Iron Set.
Correct. Yeah. So they're for you. They kind of just both of those kind of taste like an average ale to you. So they're not like an average dark ale and an average pale ale. They're nothing to write home about, in your opinion.
All right. Then in that case, I'll get a tankard of the rose petal. Thank you.
Nathan runs off and comes back with a tankard for you guys and drops it down in front of you.
No, I don't.
That's not gonna get confusing at all.
Not that Nathan.
I'm going to do this to them all through the episode.
Yes, you are.
Must taste very similar to.
So, with it, with that steak, I will actually leave it up to you if for the taste. It might taste similar, or it might not taste exactly the same. Taste the same at all, but you just either way, you kind of like the way it tastes.
It's very interesting. It's very similar though. Very well done.
All right. With that,
I'm now fat. Time to go to bed.
Oh, I've just realized something. Rose gave me advantage, and I got a 12 on the rose petal ale.
Nice. I saw that she gave you advantage, but I wasn't gonna do it for any of those rolls because those rolls don't matter.
Oh no. I just found it funny that it was the rose petal ale with that
Right. The Rose Kitten Pedal Ale.
No, don't drink kittens.
Don't drink kittens.
That's going on a shirt.
Kittens. That's actually good shirt.
Alongside all of the various names for my race that we're going to accrue before we actually get to the end.
Yeah, it's just a shirt with a bunch of names and then crosses.
Hypaxi
Nice.
crossed out, Hippangon crossed out.
Your character
Or
is
work,
a.
Yeah.
My character is a hippo? Question mark.
So you guys are, after you've finished your meal, and they clear the plates off and clear the cups out. They bring you up to the third floor, and you guys are pretty much.
I start screaming.
I knew it. I knew someone was gonna do it.
What's wrong? I mean,
This third floor is okay, right?
no one's ever had an issue before.
Okay, great.
Fine.
I mean,
Is there something wrong with third floors? Is there like a superstition in your race about third floors?
It's not a racial thing. If it was, it would have changed.
Never mind. You're paying enough for me not to care.
weird days.
There's only 8 rooms on the third floor, so you guys are
We got
getting
the
one
whole
each.
floor. Nice.
You go into the rooms. The rooms are basically a bedstand, a candle, and a box for you to store your stuff. That's as to store your stuff, and a chair. It's better than what most inns will give you, which is most inns will give you a bed and a box, really.
Right.
And normally there's like 2 or 3 beds in there, so you're getting a single bed and more of like a room that a noble might get, but not quite actually full blown nobility level of comforts.
Is there a mirror in the room?
Yes, we'll say there's a mirror in the room.
Okay. There's gonna be something. Continue on. I'm just taking notes and making notes on things.
Billy is
Okay.
definitely Billy definitely catches himself in the mirror, like a real mirror for once, and he goes, "Wow, impeccable jawline."
Nice.
Is anyone doing anything before they go to sleep?
I think I will change. I will study the strange book that Dalton gave me.
You study your strange book?
Exactly.
I didn't realize.
On the front of your spell book is just an embossed version of the mustache. No reason why, but it's there.
I mean, that
How did
makes
I know?
sense.
How did
Also
I-
it says Kyle's extra, or who is that?
Kevin Spare spell book.
Kevin-
Yeah.
You open the
Spare.
spell book, it says property of Kyle. No last name.
Poor Kyle.
The last
Yay.
name has been scribbled out. And then at the bottom it says property of Dalton's Bar. Moongate Tavern.
I'm okay with that. That's awesome.
Now, for the jokes aside, it's mostly your spell book that you have is mostly just a dark leather tome. There's really nothing special to the book other than the content that's inside, which is your spells. They are the spells that you basically have access to everything you're seeing on your card, on your person. Because I did add all of them to you. They should still be there.
Yeah, I've got them. I just changing the preparation.
So
Mhm.
what type of mirror is it? Is it like a standing mirror? Is it on the wall?
It is a wall mirror. It's sitting by the vanity, basically by your not vanity, by the small table next to the beds.
Before I go to bed, I'd like to find some way to cover or turn away the mirror.
The mirror is just hanging there, so you could lift it up and put it down, or just lift it up, turn it so that's going against the wall. That's very easy. It's nothing. It's not like anchored there, because he figures if you're gonna steal the mirror, he'll see you on the way out.
That makes
I've
sense.
Turned it away.
Unless you store it into a bag.
I mean, there is a
Certain bag.
there is a certain possibility for that.
You also break the mirror.
You absolutely could, but that's normally not a quiet thing.
I mean, I'm willing to bet that
7 years of bad luck.
I'm willing to bet that absolutely everything in the room doesn't add up to 2 gold, so he's fine.
Yeah, probably not. like the guard said, is the best rooms in town that aren't the noble places, because nobles, they actually get to pay real money to get really good stuff.
Yep. One day.
That's the old quarter.
Next time we'll do that one. But for now,
Assuming everybody goes to sleep, I am going to drag something horrible onto the screen for you guys.
what a shock.
Do we benefit from a long rest or not yet?
You will benefit from a long rest, yes. That is not a problem.
All right, I will click long rest. Long rest.
How do you long rest in the
Open your
There's
character.
a button under your hit dice.
Yep.
Recover limited use abilities. Recharge per day. Rest.
Oh,
Yeah.
long rest. Rest time.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, not him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
and my 4 hit points.
I think you were the only one who actually got hurt in that last fight.
Yeah, I was the only one who got hurt, and that was purely because I was tying somebody up instead of, paying attention to the guy with the knife. But then I ignored it and scared him off.
Yep. And then I threw his back out with an Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
And the
His,
rest of them.
His spine became, well, not a spine anymore.
Let's play Spine, not a Spine.
I think
Fine.
the
So
one-
once everyone has fallen asleep, about say we'll say about 2 or 3 hours or so after that, when everybody's in a deep enough sleep, everyone starts having the same dream. And that dream is all of you are standing in a room and hearing this voice.
It is good to see some of you again. And there are some new faces here.
You guys cannot move, but you can talk. It is you are still sleeping, so you're not, but you are conscious of the conversation. So you can speak as normal, but anytime you attempt to move, you would need to roll a, let's say, Constitution, and that would be you potentially waking yourself up.
That's it. I'm never sleeping on the 3rd floor again. See, I should have
Because
known.
this is a dream. Do we appear as we are currently, or do we appear as our original races?
You appear as you were originally, because this is your dream. Because your dream is you as you think you should be. So even still, it's more of an idealized version of what you were versus who you actually are. Now, that being said, if Nathan turned and looked at Billy, Billy is still a goblin. Because for all intents and purposes, Billy is a goblin.
Right.
For Nathan. But it's so you looking down at yourself will see what you're supposed to be. Everybody else still sees you as changed. It's all about perception.
Yep.
There.
Still running errands for the mustached man, huh?
No one's here is running errands for me.
Who are you?
Yeah, you got your mustache back. I think I remember the last time your mustache was glued on. But I'm talking about the red one. Me? I'm Ulrich the Lich.
Ulrich?
Ulrich. Get it right.
Ulrich. Okay.
Well, even if you get it wrong, it's fine. It doesn't matter, I guess. Because you might not remember this conversation if you wake yourself up.
Ulrich?
Ulrich.
So, Cholera,
no, that was
exactly
me
why
asking
are
the
you
DM, how-
waking us
how do
up
you
with
spell
this?
it?
Say that one more time, because I actually couldn't hear you.
I'll let Minor
That
go
was. Go on, Minor. I'm sorry. You both of you went at the same time, and I couldn't hear either of you.
Yeah, I apologize. I was just asking how you spell it.
He ignores that question.
Oh, that was more asking the DM than.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry,
No,
sorry.
you're good.
It wasn't clear.
Throw it in chat.
Alright.
So, Cholera, exactly why are you doing a group dream sending?
Wait, what'd you call it?
Cholera. He called him cholera.
I have a proposition for you.
I don't
You-
know that we can work for one creepy, weird old dude while working for another creepy, weird old dude. I think that's against union rules.
It might be, but not all rules are meant to be, followed.
They are. That's why they call them rules.
But
What I am propositioning is not doing the last thing he asks for, and in turn telling me what he's looking. Because I have a way to turn you guys back if you want, but you need to do something for me to do that.
Wait.
I'd
So-
be willing to hear him out.
So what you're saying is you're the kind of master spellcaster that needs us to tell you what conversation that we have with Dalton because you can't possibly just fucking scry it?
Nothing can be scried inside the tavern. He holds up.
He holds up a Moongate token. And
I can never go there.
Sure you can. Give it a shot.
Every time I try, he stops me from getting there. The door never changes. It's only ever changed once. One time. That was the first time I ever went there, and it was my last. He does not want me anywhere near that tavern. He does not even want me here. Does not want me in this.
Why?
Yeah. Who are you? Besides your name, of course.
Let's say I used to be an old friend of his. We decided that we had two different ways to deal with a problem for this land. He chose his, I chose mine. We didn't get along too well afterwards. Though I will say, mine won. This land is still safe.
Are you... So what exactly is your goal here to get this information?
My goal? To
Yes.
keep Dalton happy in his little tavern and never let him leave.
Okay. And what's your goal for this land, for people?
Nothing stays exactly the way it is.
Why?
Okay.
Nothing has to change here.
Why not?
Travel around and find out how nice this place is, and you tell me why I don't want it to change.
See, that's what I can't figure out. Because, I mean, historically, liches don't like nice things. So, if you're liking this, then there has to be something wrong with it.
Well, that's a lich?
Yes.
Oh.
I feel like that was necessary explanation.
Yeah, Cadaveric is a lich.
Yeah,
so I actually just pinged where he's at on the screen. Sorry, I dropped him so that you guys could see him. I just
No,
didn't.
I knew he was a lich. That was in character. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know if you guys had looked at it. My bad.
Yeah, no. It's mainly just because we had heard about the Lich from previous adventures,
Yeah.
but we didn't connect that Alaric was the Lich.
And in Eberron, liches are not very common, so.
Gotcha.
No worries. Yeah,
I have no idea. What is a lich?
Apparently, this. I thought
Oh.
he was an Undying from Ardenel or
No,
something.
no. He's not an undying. I mean, he is because he's not currently dying. But Rather Thick is actually a lich.
Oh. What do you keep calling him? It makes me laugh.
This would be the same.
What does a lich want with this place? Is that the question you're asking?
Well, that's my first question. My second one is, you have phenomenal power and this fashion sense. I mean, you have absolutely no excuse, especially because this is the dream world, and you could have appeared looking like. And this is the best you could come up with.
No. I look still like a goblin. I think your perception is off. He probably looks really nice. You can't see it.
But we would be able to because he's the one that established the power, the rules for the spell. So if he wanted to not look like he's wearing some robes that are 750 years out of date, he could have.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I know
he-
that. I'm talking.
way
in
he
character.
looks
I'm
is the
talking
way
in
he looks
character as
stays
well.
the same.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, I decided I didn't need to change. Much like this place, I don't need to. We both fought for a way to stay alive for as long as possible. He went his way and found his tavern. I went my way and I became a lich.
And you went your way and definitely didn't find a tailor.
I see.
Excuse him. He speaks
I do.
rather brashly.
Please,
sometimes.
please remember, wisdom is my dump stat. And this is why it's the best dump stat.
It is. It's funny.
Tailors are not required for what I'm asking. I am merely asking if you guys were to find what Dalton wants, and you don't want to have to go looking for it, you can always just let me know instead.
And how do we do that?
Well, if you're here in Eason, I can always contact you directly via the same way I am now. But if you're not, there are a couple of places that I will be willing to show you if you agree that you can go to, and we can at least you can talk through one of my subordinates.
What kind of subordinates?
Well, really depends on where you go. I have a few.
Okay.
I may not be able to just suddenly summon a group of random adventurers and make you sit there and drink some random drinks, and all of a sudden now you owe me a bunch of money, so go do this for me. But I don't need to. I can just go and talk to the groups and say, hey, you wanna help me do something? And start a normal conversation.
You consider this a normal conversation?
No.
Okay.
But I don't also consider you guys to be friendly either at the moment. I'm just merely giving you another option.
I mean, to be fair, we may have been more friendly if during our first meeting you didn't try to kill us. Generally, in my experience, that makes for an adversarial relationship.
Well,
That's
the
really
tree wasn't supposed to attack you. It was merely supposed to die. I blame that one more on Dalton messing with things he shouldn't.
Respectfully, I've not encountered you before, but you mentioned that you want to keep Dalton confined to the Moongate Tavern. Does that mean that what he's looking for right now is a way to escape the Moongate?
That is one of the effects.
And others
I-
would be.
Why don't you ask Dalton?
Well,
Because I have a feeling that he wouldn't be as forthcoming as you seem to be.
It's probably because it's probably true. He did like to keep everything close to the vest. But
I'm- you mean
In the
like you're
chat?
doing right now?
sort of.
Okay.
There's a difference though. I'm giving you an option. He's forcing you to do something.
I mean,
I just may not be answering all the questions.
you could have given us, you could have gave us an option before you tried to kill us, and then we probably would have been a lot more responsive, because I'm not saying that we trust Dalton, but I'm saying I really don't trust people that try to murder me.
But I definitely don't trust Dalton either, and I don't like him very much either.
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't trust Dalton.
That makes 7 of us. I don't trust Dalton. Mind you, I've had more time with him, so I know him a little better. But you don't have to make your decision now. Hey, it takes 60 years to think about it. I don't care. I'll be here.
Would
But
you say that Dalton ages like a fine wine or like a moldy cheese?
I would say Dalton ages like no aging at all.
Well, what I mean is that the more you know him, does he get better or does he get worse?
I will always tell you he's more like the moldy cheese. But it all depends on who you speak to. But I'll still say he's definitely a moldy.
Very fair.
He
I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to find out.
I would like to. Yeah, I might be interested in dealing with you. I mean, I don't know you, but I don't know Dalton either. All I know is these people a little more so far. I would trust them over both of you, and I wouldn't mind dealing with you in person. I can't move right now, and that does bother me.
Do you know what upsets me the most? And I turn to the group of us, not towards the lich. What upsets me the most right now is that the best 30 ways that I can come up with to re-say Malefic's name, I'm not going to be able to say, because for certain naughty words I would have to change it anyway, and then the joke's ruined.
I don't know
You
if
see
you're
the-
testing his patience or if you're trying to die. It's hard to tell.
I'm sorry, Nathaniel. You're speaking to me through a wall. It's not one of the 3 walls that I'm seeing right now. It must be an invisible.
It must be some
Nathan.
form of invisible fourth wall.
Second roll me a d8.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing happens. You're fine. That was the check to see if you suddenly got punted out of the dream.
I mean, I'm not even sure if I can call him cicadic or not, or if that's going to get me problems.
Oh, jeez.
Oh God, help! me.
Because that just relates to a twitchy, jerking movement, and not at all anything naughty. But it sounds like it does.
Ulrich, once again, I apologize for Nathan's
Is
strange
Billy trying to be deceptive here?
inward.
Basically, I'm asking you if Billy is actually thinking about working with him, or is Billy just saying this to calm any potential problems that might be being caused by Nathan, or just to try and get more information out of him?
Honestly, I think there is a part of Billy that wants to that kind of wants to he's kind of playing both sides, but I will gladly take either persuasion. It's more of a persuasion.
That's really what it
Hiding.
was. I was just trying to figure out if we were doing a deception or a persuasion roll. Because
Yeah.
you do
Try
kind
that.
of, he's basically trying to get some form of, not even assurance, but he's trying to get a gauge of you guys, and he's trying to figure out if it's worth giving you any places you could go to interact with them if you wanted. So give me a persuasion.
Absolutely. Give me a second. This is what I am good for. Oh, here we go.
You are.
No,
You are
with that
extremely
roll, you're not.
persuasive.
Unless I get that. Thanks, dice.
You know,
Can
I
I use my reaction to use my portent to turn that into a 19?
Yes.
Even in the dream.
I will give it to you.
Yeah, because
I'll
we're
give
still
it
in
to
the
you.
long rest, which means those are going to reset in the morning anyway.
Yep. They haven't
Exactly.
reset yet.
Oh,
know-
it's such a good ability.
Okay,
My-
so 19. That'll be a
my
27.
human friend.
Oh.
Point.
Wow, yeah.
You know, my human friend.
Clarifying, Billy was human, correct?
You know, my human friend. I think we can talk.
Being perfectly forthright with how I'm feeling, Dalton has showcased the ability to transform us into various races at will. Presently, you haven't shown the same ability to any of us. So, at the moment, I'm still more inclined to go along with Dalton because he has showcased the ability that he can actually return us to how we were. But I'm not hiding this from you in a show of this is where I'm at. If the situation changes, I may be more inclined, and we'll just see where things go from there.
Okay. So, Billy.
Yeah.
The map. You see the map? You should be seeing the map in front of you right now.
Just closed it because I didn't see anything different.
Yep. Nope. Nothing changed on the map. I'm just going to point something out to you.
Oh, never mind.
Yep. I just sent it back to you. It should be popping up again. So, on the map, you should see Illicet, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
South of Illicet, in the mountain range, you see is a small town connected to a mine. On that, right there, you see a. I will actually send you a map inside Discord, if it's hard to see. But you see basically almost like a pinprick of light right there. And you hear him say in your head,
If you want to talk to me or any, if you wish to speak to me, go to here. You can ask for Melmer, and he will get in touch with me to be able to speak with you.
I'm going to put that in my notes. 1 second.
and to our Hapaxi friend,
Well, I understand why you might think that way. But understand as well that becoming what I have should always tell you that I'm strong enough to do at least one of you. Every 8 hours. But I'll tell you for now that that is not the case. I can do more than that if I really want to. Because me and Dalton have been playing this game for a while.
I
So
wish
far, you
Grandpa
guys-
were here. Oh, there would be so much more sass than just mine.
And so far, you have been Dalton's best toys. Let's put it that way. I'd rather you not be toys. I'd rather you be people. So that's one reason why I want to help.
let's say we wanted to help you. What's stopping Dalton to just pops behind us and touch us, transform us into ants, and leave us to rot? Because he had demonstrated the ability to do that at will whenever he wants.
Like I said, trapping him inside that tavern. Well, stopping him from doing what he wants right now will curb that a little bit. And also, I have something else if I can get my hands on the things that he's looking for that could make it so that he can never leave the tavern by any means.
I have.
Yes, Nathan.
I
or
have.
second.
No. This is actually in game. I have a question.
Yes.
So you said that everything here is idyllic. That wasn't me playing with your name on that one. And that you don't want anything to change. Yes?
Correct.
So then why did you blight the forest and rot the tree? Because that specifically was a change.
Because that was a change Dalton made. I merely took the tree out of it to bring it back to the way it was.
But you changed the tree.
The tree was never there. Dalton planted it specifically for a purpose. I removed the tree so he could no longer use it for that.
Okay, but the tree was part of this place that you said was idyllic and didn't need to change.
I am slowly removing the things that Dalton has changed and bringing it back to the way it should.
So what you're saying is we have no way to validate except through you that no change to this idyllic place will leave it exactly the way it still is when you change the things that he has already changed, because we have no way to validate except through you, someone who I will remind you has tried to kill us, that the things that you are going to remove won't in any way impact or change this city, world, continent.
You take my word for it or you take his.
I'm taking nobody's word for nothing. What I'm not taking at the moment is any more bullshit from either one of you. Because you're telling me one thing and showing me another. And that means I can't trust you.
Respectfully, may I ask one more question?
Last one.
You've said that this is a game played between Dalton and yourself. The world, we looked at a map recently, and it seems cut off, like it's a smaller piece of a larger world. The game... Does the game have anything to do with that limited space? Is this space that we're in the board of your game?
You see him raise an eyebrow as he looks at you and says, "It very well could be."
Thank you for answering my question.
I would try. Well, between the two of you, I can't say I trust either one of you, but when it comes to making a decision, I think I would rather. I don't know. I feel like Dalton needs to be stopped. He's going to bring more people through to the tavern, and if he can't leave the tavern, then his power diminishes. That's the way I see it.
If Dalton leaves the tavern, Dalton has less presence than me.
Right. And I'm not sure yet if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But we'll see.
Well, I've made my offer. I think I know where you stand. But I think we'll talk again.
I'm looking
Have a
forward
good
to it.
rest of your night.
Thank you.
You too, sir.
You see the mist roll over view, and you sleep the rest of your night undisturbed. This would be a good time to take a break.
Yay! All right, we're going to get up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. So everybody, hang tight. If you have any questions for me or Morton or any of the members of the chat, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will get back to you with the answers as soon as we come back. Bye.
True.
Welcome back, everybody.
That's a good segue.
Anyway,
Anyway.
back to our regularly scheduled D&D session. Everybody wakes up from their long rest. It is happy. Wait,
Except for
no.
Badger.
Well, except for Badger, he wakes up grumpy because grumpy.
Because grumpy.
For some reason, the Warforged needs more time to recharge the batteries.
Super Volt.
Nah, he ain't. No, he doesn't.
Wait,
seem
wait.
To be waking
Does
up.
anybody have D batteries?
They don't have fast charger here.
Why does this golem have a tail, and why does it have 3 points at the end of it?
Ah, so many bad jokes. Anyway,
Out now.
no, you're not. They're gonna keep coming. I already know this.
They're self-replicating. You're right.
So for today, you get a 13 and a 17.
Both not bad rolls.
So, someone does pretty good, or does amazing.
Depending on what you're trying to do. So for as you can see, I actually got the guy to load finally. In the morning, you hear people waking up and starting to leave the floor. David and Krog basically wake up at exactly dawn. It's their schedule at this point, so they just wake up automatically. And head down to the dining area where you guys got your dinner. Is any
Cost to get a tankard, or like a tankard or a barrel of the rose petal ale.
Ooh.
are you just looking for like a little barrel that you can carry, or are you looking for a barrel that you need to throw into the cart to actually take home?
I mean, for him, I don't know that there's a difference between what he can carry and what needs to be thrown into the
right.
cart.
I mean, yes, you do have the barrel would be larger, but basically I'm asking, are you trying to bring back a full barrel, or are you trying to bring back a travel one, which the travel ones are?
Give him a 50-gallon barrel with a straw stuck in it, so it's a hippogriff sippy cup.
I was gonna say, when is he gonna get the massive gourd on his back like an anime character?
Oh,
Depends
God.
on the cost, really. How much do each cost, and I'll decide from there.
You could just probably treat it as a barrel, maybe.
Give me 1 second.
Good morning, everyone.
Day drinking. Yeah.
Billy makes his bed, even though he doesn't have to. It's just part of his habit. And he gets, dressed in his fancy suit, in his fancy goblin suit that he definitely doesn't know where that came from. And he stands out. He gets out and he says, good morning. Yes.
We'll say 20 gold for the travel barrel, and 40 for the you need to bring the cart around.
How much for just the tankard then?
Tankard was 2 gold.
Okay. I'll get a tankard to start with then.
It's bright out here.
Good morning.
So, before you go into any details, did anybody else have a dumb dream?
Yes, I had a dream.
Uh,
I think we all
I
shared
mean
it.
a
Right?
dumb drink with that guy.
That guy?
I'm sorry. What are you talking about? This is coming from David.
Oh, we had a dream with Adipic in it. I realized that
believe
people
you.
were getting upset about. I realized he was getting upset about me constantly playing with his name, but he has to understand that most of those were parodic. Ah, there it is. We had to wait that long for to come around to the punchline.
Have you guys been drinking too much?
I am learning more vocabulary from Nathan than I have in my entire high school career.
On the contrary, my fine friend, I believe that I am not drinking enough. And just downing the rose petal like it's water.
I turned to our 2 NPC friends and I was like, so you remember that guy that was responsible for making the tree get all icky and creating the blights and then us having to be here and stuck this way in the first place?
Oh, you mean the one you tried to sell Phoebe to?
Yeah, that didn't happen, but that guy.
What?
This is a story I haven't heard.
Okay, look. So we ran into a lich very early on in our adventuring careers. You know how early on it was because it was, 2 weeks ago. And so there was absolutely no way that we could fight him. So I was trying to keep him verbally, off base by just saying weird things. And apparently Phoebe took offense to the idea that, I suggested that we would trade her for the seed that we were looking for, when obviously there was no way we could stop him anyway. So I wasn't actually trading her for the seed, because if he had already wanted a Phoebe, he would have already had a Phoebe. So he obviously didn't want a Phoebe. So I was offering him something that he didn't want in exchange for something that he didn't want to give us, and everything was going to be fine. But apparently some people get upset about that.
With reason, but that's probably because she didn't know you very well. And I can tell you that just for the few days that I've been traveling with you, this makes complete sense now.
I can tell you, this is David speaking. I can tell you that if you had offered to try and sell me, I would not have been happy about it either. Just pointing that out.
Right.
Yeah.
But David, if the Lich wanted either of you, is there anything your entire town could have done to stop him?
Probably not.
So he didn't want either of you, which you know because he didn't come get you. So the idea was say things that would confuse or surprise the Lich in order to give my crew maybe an extra 12 seconds to try to figure out how we were going to outrun him. Because we sure weren't going to outfight him. And that's all I was trying to do, was buy time. I mean, sometimes you got to do these on the fly. You got to go with what comes naturally.
It was a well thought out idea that worked in the moment but didn't come across very well.
That is pretty brash, I will admit.
I mean, I'm sure she would have been even more upset if I had gone, hey, Phoebe, why don't you take the front line against the Lich? So, I mean, we didn't go with that plan.
Can't argue that matter.
And we met Phoebe a couple of days ago.
Yes, Phoebe was the satyr.
She's fine. She's back home. So as far as things are concerned, it was an attempt to catch this individual off guard, and no harm came to her other than emotional. Potentially.
I mean, we're not holding a grudge or anything. We didn't tell you couldn't have the tower. You guys are
Yep.
banned from coming anywhere near us.
Yay.
I'm just trying to. This is the first time we're hearing about it, so I'm attempting to rationalize it.
Yeah. In the end, it's all good. No harm, no foul. Everything's fine.
Exactly.
As long as you didn't mean it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
work.
I mean, I don't own a Phoebe, so I couldn't have given away a Phoebe in the first place.
Okay.
Nathan, the Harangon, walks over and starts putting down bowls in front of you guys. It's just basic. It's basically like oatmeal. It's nothing too crazy.
Nice.
These come with the room.
Yay.
Breakfast.
Does it come with cinnamon?
Never had anyone ask that before. One moment, let me see if I got some.
Is that a common thing where you're from?
I prefer it actually. If you've ever been to, never mind.
I'd be willing to try that.
Well, if he doesn't have any, I can make it happen.
It's well,
I don't have cinnamon, but I got honey.
Cinnamon. Prestidigitation.
I'll try both.
you know what cinnamon tastes like. Oh, wait, I can do
So-
that too.
Honey
I pull my wand out.
Yum 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 for the hippo.
He puts he puts a little bit of honey into it for you, and as
Oh, yeah.
for Billy's and Nathan's, I guess, I mean, it tastes like cinnamon because you changed it to taste like cinnamon.
Oh no, I let the honey and the cinnamon flavor mix.
There
That's
you
fine.
go. Prestidigitation works for everything.
Yep,
Yeah.
prestidigitation. Take the most disgusting looking thing possible and make it taste great. After
Will
your
now never have oatmeal any other way if I can help it.
Never been to Thane. Well, you've never been to Thane. That's
I've never been. I don't. Is that a place?
Yes, it's a nation from where I'm from.
Where
They
I'm
make
from, it's a
very-
person.
Oh, I mean,
thank you
yeah,
for stealing my joke.
It's a title where I'm from.
Let me make sure I got that.
David,
Sorry, I said Thane. I meant Thrain.
Rain. It makes that makes a slight
That
difference.
spoils all of our
Makes
jokes.
Not a person or a title, I think. Well, maybe not. It could make it not a title.
It's a nation in Corvair, but regardless, their food is hot usually, so cinnamon comes from there. Regardless,
Is it? What kind of region is it?
temperate for the most part, I think. Mostly plains, and yes, a very strong faith. I've not been there too often. I mostly venture in the reaches mostly, and in Brayland, but those are places that you don't know much about. It's
Yeah. None of us seem to. We're all looking a little confused.
yes. Well,
Weird days.
After David and Krog finish their meal, they'll step up. They'll stand up and say, "We're gonna go and get the cart finished. If you want to meet us at the merchant's quarter, or the guild, I guess is what you would call it. You can. Just we're gonna go back to the front and start talking to Mary."
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Don't we? Hey, we need to talk to Mari too. No, she's the one who can point us to the direction of the
Mason.
stone mason.
Correct. Yeah, she helps pretty much run everything over there. So yeah, I would not be surprised if she at least knows somewhere you can get the stone, if not an actual mason to help.
All right. That sounds like a plan.
I need to pick up some tools, but I might not have the money to do it.
Oh, we are in the merchant's quarter, so we may as well take a look around and see what we can
Yeah.
procure.
Yes, I would very much like to get a new set of. I would need a new set of carpenter's tools, leatherworkers, and well, actually, ironically, I actually know my way around driving the cart as well. But that's I'll leave that to David.
So when you guys are done and you've finished your meal and
Yep.
you leave,
Yep,
you walk into the corner. The corner, now that you're seeing it in the daylight, is a carpenter's carpenter's home. You can see all the like the tools are absolutely in better condition there. But one thing you are noticing with most of the places that they're not storefronts. You don't walk to them to purchase anything.
Right.
Like you see the people talking to them, but they're not actually buying. They're more just chatting. As you're coming around to the front, you're noticing where you dropped off where they dropped off the initial wagon.
Mhm.
Seems to be where everybody's bringing all of they're basically their wares for the day,
Gotcha.
and they sell everything in the equivalent of the guild hall. Everything that's available to be sold is there. If you wanted to get something specific, you can request it here, and they will get you a price from the merchant not the merchant, the artisan in general. So they for the most part, you're either going to be speaking to Marigold or to one of her assistants when looking for something, and then she in turn will speak with the artisan and for them afterwards. But you can kind of think of this almost like the equivalent of a mall at this point. But it's not it's nowhere near that big. It's just covering the couple of stations that are around this area. But coming inside, this is a fairly large building that you're walking into for the front. This looks like this is basically where the transactions end. When you walk through it, because this is like all tables, chairs, and counters set up to where her assistants are running around, either taking orders, fulfilling orders, people picking stuff up from previous batches. And as you come in, you're pretty much being directed to the center courtyard, because that is actually where everyone is standing.
Right.
They have their own little booths where they can do where they can make the sales there if they need to, or they let one of the assistants take care of it. Now, are you guys looking for anything in particular other than the merchant? Not merchant, the mason, for a mason.
Well,
I look for a larger drum.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
With the amount of tools that we need, we're probably looking for a die maker of some kind.
Dye is in like clothing dye, or are you talking about like tool and die set?
Tool and die, because
All right.
technically a tool maker is a die maker.
Yeah.
It is someone that specifically makes the tools that other craftsmen use.
Gotcha. Wording did not click for me.
No worries.
I've
been big on wording tonight.
Yes, you have. Yes.
He's got his lexicon.
Let's see here. He doesn't need it. It's his brain.
I'd be looking for a tailor myself.
Alrighty. So, Monarch, roll me a d10. And for second, roll me a d6.
Okay. Boop doop doop. I will let you.
Okay. So, Monarch, what type of clothing are you looking for?
Fancy clothing, fine clothing.
For the most part, you're finding like travel gear that would fit you. You're not really finding anything really fancy. You are a bit of an odd size, so it's kind of hard to find clothing that is not tailor made for you. Now, you can absolutely request something and have them take your measurements, but they are not actually carrying anything that's going to fit you smoothly. Let's put it that way. It's going to be a little bit of a little bit of leather, a little bit of cloth. It's kind of like they're finding bits and pieces from other things that are fitting you. So it's a little hodgepodge at the moment.
Unfortunate.
As for Nathan, how many different types of tools are you looking for? All
Well, I mean, it was mostly for Billy.
right. So then, Billy, how many different types of tools were you looking for again?
He needs to replace. I think right now we're just gonna need the carpenter's tools. We don't really need the leatherworker's tools.
I get him anyway.
So, with those, you absolutely can find both of them. The leather's tools are really basic. You're not finding like great tools at the moment. The carpenter's tools are definitely better than what you saw at Dunwick, but they are not like a complete set. Like they're not like the top end. I have absolutely everything. So it's basically just like what someone would use when they're traveling around. Is more what you found. You're not gonna have the I can set up my own carpentry bench
I mean,
somewhere. And be
It's a
done with it.
start.
Yeah.
Something.
Exactly.
How much?
For the carpentry tools, you are looking at 10 gold.
How much for the other ones?
For the leatherworking tools, you are looking at 4.
Done on both.
Already.
There you go. Have tools, Billy.
Well, thank you. I seem to be light on my pockets. I used to have a rather good size, but I left it all on my horse back home. So
No worries.
Oh, you
I'll
left
get
them
you
all in
back.
Dalton's pocket.
I had some money available. And what I'm spending here isn't really going to slow me down from what I'm trying to get done, because I have more than enough to do the first part of what I need to get done, and not nearly enough for the second part. So I'm okay.
Okay. Question: how do I add things to categories? It doesn't seem to let me. Oh, there we go.
If you
It
hit
wasn't-
add, it'll make it an empty drop down. Otherwise, Morden or I can put the actual thing on your actual character,
Okay.
like this.
Would you mind while we're at that?
Yep,
Can
yep.
you take the wand from my loot and put it into my weapons? Or is that
You don't have to have the wand as a weapon.
okay.
It is technically considered a loot item for all intents and purposes.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've added the tools to your card.
No, you beat me. Oh well.
Well, were there anything else you guys were looking for?
A mason who can do the masoning for the stonework for the mason.
So you don't actually see a mason's bench because
Right.
selling stone doesn't really make sense here.
Right.
For what they're going for. Once you guys have made your purchases for the tools, you head back to the front.
Okay.
What you would go after you've gone to the front, you're going to go to one of the many counters that's there and speak to one of the representatives
Okay.
for the guild.
Okay.
They tell when you ask about looking for masons, they tell you that you have to speak directly to Mary, and Mary will be with you shortly. Mary is
Okey-dokey.
finishing with another customer.
We can wait.
Probably about 10 minutes later, Mary comes over with Krog and David in tow, because Krog and David were the previous customer.
Mm.
Well, hello. I heard you
Hi.
guys were looking for a mason.
Yes, and specifically, we're looking for a quarry source that would match the stone that was. Can I tell if the stone that was used would be similar to what was used on the wall here, or like where that stone was sourced from?
Potentially, we could have brought a sample.
That would be. That's a good question, Sarah. I hadn't thought about that one.
Right?
Nathaniel, did you happen to bring a sample of the stone from the tower?
No, because that would have been a wise thing to do, and we know that I'm not about that.
Oh,
I'll give you an investigation check for it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, I think Billy will just excuse himself and he'll go check out the temple, which gives me an excuse to bid everyone adieu. It's 9 o'clock for me, so I have to leave.
Okie doke.
All right.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good one.
Sorry, I can't stay.
That's okay.
No worries. Thank you for staying
Take care.
for most of it.
Yeah.
Run. Little dog.
With an 11, you're pretty sure it's the same.
Okay.
Uh,
And now I fix everything. Hold on.
Oh boy.
We knew it was coming.
Yep, I'm watching the stream, and there it goes.
Yep. Okay. And now everything is set and everybody's back and nothing happened, and that certainly didn't take 5 minutes of my life away.
I have not seen a Kenku, so no Kenkipo.
Tempo would be
Okay, so I believe we were meeting a person.
poking.
Yes, you were meeting Marigold, the tabaxi. She's merry, she has lots of gold, and she's a tabaxi.
That all works. Hi. I'm looking for a stonemason and also whatever local quarries so that we can rebuild the tower with the same kind of stone it was made out of, if at all possible.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can find someone who can do that. Now, did you bring any of the stone with you?
See, that would be the wise thing to do, and these guys will tell you that's not me.
Would I have had the foresight to do that, or no?
Give me a wisdom check.
All right.
Most-
This is an ability check,
Correct.
and I have advantage because of Rose.
Yay! We get
Correct.
to use the rose advantage.
Natural 20.
Look at
you
that.
absolutely were smart enough to grab one, or wise enough to grab a piece.
Here you are.
See? He's wise. Okay, this is the stone. This one right here.
She
Take it.
it looks like for a second she's gonna take it from you, and then she stops and goes, "You know, you hold on to that, love. I'm gonna go get someone to look this over.
Okay.
One moment." And you see her like that to one of the random attendants is running by. Doesn't matter if they were in the middle of talking to someone else or not. They just kind of stop, like, "Oh crap," and run over. Can you show this? Words. Can you show this to Mr. Cardy for me, please?
Mr. Carty.
Correct, Mr. Cardy. Mr. Cardy is our blacksmith and mason.
Nice.
Mostly because he likes to reinforce everything, so he kind of got into blacksmithing as a secondary bit.
It happens.
He also likes to be able to repair his own tools. I don't know
Also
why.
a
I don't
plus.
know why he doesn't like to come back here and buy them from me. I mean, anyway. But
I'm
give him
sure
a
it's
moment.
nothing personal.
Give him a moment. He'll be back.
Sure.
Of course. We appreciate your help in this matter.
About 5 minutes or so later, you see the attendant come in with this gentleman. He is a bald elf with green eyes. He's actually fairly tall. Probably stands about the same height as David does. So about like 6'1".
Nice.
And he's brawny. He clearly works with physical labor for a living, so he's not tiny. So everything you would think about an elf just does not seem to fit properly with this one. Because they are you normally think of them as being, thin and agile, and he does not look that way.
Right.
Hello.
Hello. He turns and he looks at Mary and says, "Are these the customers?"
Yes.
Yes.
And this is the rock.
The Rock.
Okay. Let me take a look here.
Sure.
You see him take it. He spins it around in his hands, kind of looks it over, and goes, "Yeah, that's from the same quarry that we use, so it shouldn't really be a problem."
Good.
How much are you trying to get?
I don't know, like a floor's worth.
How big is this building?
Building is like 4 rooms in a spherical tower with 4 rooms and central staircase.
I think it's like 60 feet in diameter. It's the old watchtower from outside of Dunwich. If that helps.
Yes, that does help a little bit. I can probably get some idea of what size that was supposed to be by talking to a few of the guards, because I think they were all fairly standardized.
That makes sense.
Potentially, there may also be a standard blueprint that was used for their construction as well.
Possible, but not normally. More often than not, they just kind of get the same person to make it over and over again.
Basically, we have a third story that is damaged and needs repairs. And as long as the tower can structurally support it, which I guess you might have to come out and take a look at it, we would like to try to add an extra story on top.
I mean, yes, I could probably go out there or send one of the apprentices out there to survey it and make sure that it's not going to, fall over. But adding a whole story to it versus repairing it, it's fairly expensive. But outside of that alone, there's no guarantees that it doesn't cause damage to the tower itself, because they weren't built for more than normally like 2 or 3.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, I can have one of the apprentices run back with you and take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, just see what you guys think. If it can't be done, it can't be done, and we'll come up with another plan. But if it can be done, we'd like it done, because that was our original idea.
Yeah, we could do that. I could do that. Actually, I think my apprentices can handle it here. I can go back with you guys. Just you can come back to the guild and tell one of Mary's runners to come to let me know that you are ready to leave, and I'll double check my tasks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be leaving fairly soon. We have a whole, a whole cart that we have to go back with.
Accompanied, David and Prague here,
Yeah.
so whenever they wish to return to Dunwich, we'd be accompanying them as escorts, bodyguards, what have you.
Yeah, we're probably going to want to leave soon because it takes almost a whole day to get there. So,
Yep.
I mean, now that we've met our mason, we've had the opportunity to shop, unless there's something anyone else wants to do while we're here.
Oh, I can tell you lots of places you might want to go to here, like you can always go to the Adventurers Guilds, or you can go down to Guild Row if you're looking to see some really, some of the the wizards blowing stuff up in their own faces. That's always fun. to watch.
I want to go to the Adventurers Guild because I'm going to go be dumb.
It would be interesting to get more information from the Adventurers Guild.
Yes, let's go to the Adventurers Guild. Where is the Adventurers Guild?
We passed it on the way through.
That doesn't mean I. Oh, it's the big one that's marked Adventurers Guild Hall so that you can't miss it. I'm
We
going to head
just
for the
passed-
Adventurers Guild.
It's past the cathedral across the bridge.
Yeah.
The guard.
Yeah.
It's on our way in.
So
Alright,
the one
thank-
thing you can note about the Adventurers Guild, it is in fact the only building that you've encountered so far that does not have steps. It has a ramp.
I saw that. Or more, I saw why.
Right.
All right. I walk up the ramp.
I do not own a token with vision in this scene.
You will in a moment.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah, because it was one of those things where I wasn't sure if you guys were coming here or not, so I didn't fully prepare.
And I
Oh,
mean, even
boy.
if he did, he wasn't sure what you were going to look like when you got here.
That's fair.
There is that. No, who am I missing here? Where is
Everybody.
where's my
Hypaxi.
my hippo?
Hello.
He's a hip orc.
Hip orc. Okay, that's going on the.
That
shirt.
goes on the list. All right. So I go up and I knock on the door.
You knock on the door. You hear a male voice tell you to come in.
I come in.
The man you see is sitting in a chair.
Okay.
He is well, if he stood up, you would expect him to probably be about 5'8" to 5'10". So he's not super tall or anything. But he is still wearing some armor.
Mhm.
Most of it is just kind of leathers. The room in general that you are looking at has some trophies on it, like horns and things. But the big thing that you'll notice is basically between where he's sitting and the chair here is
Mhm.
just a board that has things that people are asking for. It is their to-do list, for lack of a better word, that anybody can take up.
I have been told this is the Adventurers Guild.
You have been told correctly.
Excellent. I would like to purchase an adventure.
That is not how this works.
But that's how guilds work. You go to a guild to buy the thing that the guild has that is part of the guild. So this is the Adventurers Guild. I would like to purchase an adventure.
You can do something that's on the board and then get paid for doing it if you'd like. That's how this Adventurers Guild works.
But that's
Now-
a job guild. That's not.
Yeah, it's
That's
exactly
a
what
chores
it is.
guild. That's a
You-
chores guild, and not an adventurers guild. I went to purchase an adventure, not a chore.
I
Even if
mean,
this wouldn't be even an adventurers guild, it's an adventurers guild, which means that. The
Oh,
things that
then I'd be
people are-
purchasing an adventurer. No, I've
You'd
already
be
gotten in trouble for that once. We better not try that again.
Hmm.
I am not sure I even want to know what you two are talking about. But moving on, if you decide you want to do anything off of the board, just let us know. We'll see what we can find. Some of the stuff is really simple. Some of the stuff is your adventure you're looking for. But, you don't get paid until you come back. Assuming you do it.
A request for another adventuring group, where would be put?
You
that?
would tell me and tell me how much you're willing to pay, and I'll put it on the board.
All right, so I look at the board in the Adventurers Guild, and what are the things on the board?
Most of what you're seeing right now is most of it is people asking for help to move supplies
Boring.
to
Next.
the guild, to the merchants guild.
Boring. Next.
A few of it is hunting. They're asking for meat from specific creatures.
Less boring, but not the best. Next.
One of them is coming from one of the two farms. It is saying that they have had issues with large creatures, large humanoid creatures. This would be the farm that is to the northeast of Shell Landing, saying that they were having issues with large humanoid creatures coming near the farm that night.
That sounds like the adventure I want. How much does it have listed?
The pay on it is 4 gold.
Okay, so I walk over to the gentleman in the chair, and I hand him 4 gold and say, I would like to purchase that adventure, please.
It's the other way around, kid, but I'll take your money anyway if you want.
Excellent.
So what name do I put on this?
The name that you put on
I
that
hope you have a lot of ink in your pen.
is Nathaniel Lodi, Sindri Kelwar, Ormos Rashik, Tamarin, Alisat, Famaris, Zanzibar, Orlin, Kazviz, Gadri, Panuzu, Deepak. I am so glad that Grandpa isn't here because I've gotten to do that 3 times and I would have done it. None of them if he was here. I'm glad he's still sleeping. We got to remember to go and pick them up and throw them in the back of the cart while they're still asleep. Otherwise, they're going to get stuck in town without us.
You see, you literally see as soon as he starts the spiel, he writes down Nathan. And then as soon as he notices that this is actually going to be a giant long spiel, looks at you and goes, I don't know. I am not writing all of that down.
I look
You're
at what he
Nathan.
wrote down and I went, that's what everybody does.
Yeah. Because he wrote it without the G too. So it's regular Nathan.
No, you spelled it wrong. You have to spell it like gnome. Because I am. I know you can't tell, but take my word for it. It's a very long story. Longer than my name. You don't want to hear it.
He just puts the G on there and goes, that's fine.
All right. See, I'm
Are
helping
you-
people learn how to spell better.
Are you the only one I'm putting on for this?
I mean, I'm sure everybody else will want to go on it too because it's probably going to be fun.
Well, we got nothing better else to do, I guess.
Sure.
We could have gone back to Dunwick and surveyed the tower, but
Well, I figure we'll go back to Dunwick and survey the tower and then get that done, and then we'll head off north to our adventure. Because, now that it's prepaid, it'll wait for us.
That's
Oh.
not how that works, kid.
alternatively, what we could do is let David and Krog know to survey the tower, just show Mr. Cardi around, and then he'll be able to come back to us with a estimation of how much stone we would need and how much that would cost. Meanwhile, we remain here in Shell Landing and go investigate this mysterious humanoid creature's adventure, as you put it, and potentially pick up some other coin by doing a couple of odd jobs around town and trying to get a feel for local rumors that might lead us in the directions we want to go.
I mean, that works too. I'm good for either one.
Because currently we're keeping our eyes and ears out for a certain thing or certain odd occurrences, and giant creatures, large humanoid figures on a farm outside of a town is definitely unusual.
Is it?
It's
I haven't spent that much time around around farms. I'm not sure.
I'll tell you, it's not normal. More often than not, the only humanoids you see around a farm are the farmhands.
It's odd enough to be worth looking into. In my opinion, of course.
Well, that is a good thing I just bought it for us then. So we can go take a look at it.
You're...
If you decide
what?
you want,
That's fine.
if you decide you want to do any more work, or if you run into anything that's out of the ordinary, just let us know. I'm always here.
I'm gonna turn to the man.
He kind of wheels himself forward a little bit and goes, "I don't go that far anymore."
I have a feeling that this one, pointing towards Nathan, is going to become your favorite adventurer because he pays the amount on the paper up front to go on the adventure.
I mean, if he wants to pay up front on what it says on the paper versus getting the pay at the end like he's supposed to, I'll absolutely think he's my favorite adventurer for the first 1 or 2 times that happens.
So, Mr. GM,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna explain this.
would it be reasonable to think that a greater restoration, I know it's not in the description of the spell, but would it be reasonable to think that a greater restoration could be cross-cast, if you will, to repair his injury?
It is possible that a greater restoration would repair him, yes.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
we don't even know what's necessarily happened.
No, but we know that he didn't start that way and that it's not an original condition. So therefore it is an altered, it's something that is altered in his physical state. And greater restoration usually fixes pretty much all of that.
That's
It
fair.
is. Yep.
It could
It
be
is possible that it is possible that greater restoration would work on him. It's possible he's tried it before. It's also very possible that he's been like this for so long he just doesn't know what to ask anymore.
Yeah, I mean, any of these are likely. It's just, this is just Nathan's brain not stopping. So he's come up with an idea.
Yes, pardon the hippo in your brain.
Yes.
Don't address the hippo in the room.
Yeah, right.
You mean the variant hippo?
By the way, does this guy know what I am?
I should have rolled that before you got here, but I didn't. But we're going to do it now.
It doesn't take long. It's only a die roll.
I used my portent to
No.
make that a 17.
Oh!
Whoa!
So I'll tell you this much.
What did it go?
There was one time I had a dream, and I remember in that dream I saw something that looked like you, and they were having an argument about the way a word was said, but I don't know what the word was.
Okay, well, that's a start. Do you remember anything else that you saw in that dream? Like where the
They were
dream
on a
was?
ship.
They were on a ship. Okay.
They were on a boat, so I assume they were on the water, but it devolved very quickly into a headbutting contest.
Oh,
Literally.
that. I feel like that may be a portentous dream, more than anything else. Maybe you foresaw me coming today.
Perhaps.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't foresee anybody coming in today. I figured everybody would be helping with the farm hands. 'Cause that's where most of them are. It's really, they call this place an adventurers guild, but it's more like an odd jobs place.
Then why don't you call it an odd jobs guild?
Because sometimes you go on real adventures in here, and sometimes you get odd jobs. It all depends. It's really just a pick your poison on what you want to try and do today.
That would be the Poisoners Guild.
We don't have one of those, and if there is one in town, please let me know.
Okay. Well, at least I was able to purchase a good adventure. If we have nothing else to do here, I have an idea for one other place I want to stop. What was your name again, sir?
My name is John.
John. Excellent.
Yes. Just if you need anything from us, or once you complete that task, come back to us and speak to me. I'll be here.
No worries. Okay. Does anybody else have any other adventures they want to purchase from John before we go?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure if we look very carefully, John will be nice and be like buy one get one free.
I mean, sure, he might be. It's worth a shot.
I mean, sure. If you want to buy the pieces of paper here, that's perfectly fine by me.
Well, I'm gonna peruse the ones about carrying supplies.
Pretty much all of it is literally sending you back to the Merchants Guild, going, we need extra hands to move all of the grain that's coming in. It's really what the large majority of this is. It's like this is an extremely busy time of the year for all of the farmers. The farmers can absolutely handle it, but the merchants
but
are
it's
willing to
harvest
do
week,
it.
so everybody needs,
Right.
the more
Pretty
hands, the
much.
faster it's over.
Exactly. It's pretty much everybody's just kind of going, hey, I'll give you like 5 silvers to help us move carts for a day, or like they're paying really good for what they're asking for, but it's also like
See,
you're
you say
backbreaking work.
And I say in response, as I'm looking at it, look at this. They expect somebody's going to pay 5 silvers to drive a cart, where I paid only 4 gold to go and fight some weird monsters in a farm. I mean, that's where the real money. That's getting something for your money right there.
Yeah. But like, there's only one task that's moving supplies. You can't do like multiple tasks of moving stuff around and then just get paid for all of it.
There are different people asking for it, but it's all basically the same tasks. You will be going to the Merchants Guild. It's just who you go to do the
He's like a
task for.
paxi. He can walk up to like 4 or 5 of them and just like, gimme. Roar!
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So basically, what they're asking you to do is essentially what David was doing when you first met him.
Yeah.
They're basically asking you to toss bags into the carts, and then the carts will be driven to wherever they're going. So, yes, you technically would be able to do it better, but you're not going to make any more money off of it for doing it better, because they have a set amount of money they're going to give you.
Yeah, but he's just trying to do it faster and then do a couple of them at the same time is what I think he's thinking.
Yeah.
It is very possible you will help them clear out their stash, and you'll be able to help another. That is possible. Yes.
But it's also a case of it's not paying me nearly enough to be warranting it, as opposed to
Like, you'll probably be able to do 2 in a day, so you'd probably get a gold for doing it. Whereas you'll be getting the 4 gold for just dealing with the monsters.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, was working it through my brain.
No worries. On the way out,
Yeah.
if you guys don't mind, I would like to go stop at the cathedral real quick.
I have no problem with that.
Okay. I mean, it's only up the block, so.
You go up to the cathedral, you see Billy there. Billy's like asleep on the stairs or something. I don't know.
It happens.
I like to think that maybe he's asleep next to the bridge.
He's a goblin,
that
not
make
a
him-
troll.
I was about to say, does that make him a toll goblin?
A toll goblin.
Well, we have a loot goblin, so we may as well have a toll goblin too.
It's true.
There. You walk to the cathedral. You head up inside.
Uh-huh.
Because it was late last night when you came here before, there wasn't really anybody in there this early. Well, at this point, it'd probably be it would still be morning. You haven't really been here for terribly long. It was getting closer to midday though. You would see 2 acolytes at the front that are, waving people in as they're coming in, responding to any questions people might have. But it looks like the church itself is basically getting into full swing, where there is not a crowd, but there's a lot more people in there than you had seen before.
Okay. I walk up to one of the acolytes and I was like, excuse me, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but may I ask who the most powerful healer is in this facility?
I believe that would be the head priest, Igvard.
Igvard. Is it possible that I could speak to him for just a moment? I promise it won't take long.
Yes, he's actually up at the altar at the moment.
Okay.
They're not actually doing any services today. Most of this is just people coming in to pray for one reason or another.
Oh, okay. That's fine then.
Yeah, so it gets to make another roll.
All right. So we go through. Womp womp.
I love this so much.
You
What am I?
you walk all the way up to the altar.
Mhm.
He's actually standing in very much the same place you saw him before. He's at the base of the stairs. He's not up, standing behind the altar or anything. But a person that you are going to talk to is our fire genasi.
Excellent. I walk
Um,
up to him and I say, "Hello, excuse me, sir. May I borrow a moment of your time? I wish to ask you a trio of questions."
Yes, you can ask me questions. How can I help you?
Sure. Do you have the capacity to cast the spell known commonly as Greater Restoration? Go ahead, check his character card.
Yep, making sure that I have the correct one.
We're gonna find out how high level these NPCs are.
Uh-huh.
Because Greater Restoration is a 5th level spell, right?
Uh-huh. Let's see how high this high priest is.
So they need to be at least 9th level.
I mean, as a high priest, I think 9th level is a reasonable shot.
I mean, of a town,
Right.
we might find more powerful casters in the capital.
I mean, the building is called the Cathedral.
It's the only one. It's the only one
You-
in the entire world.
He's not the head of a church. He's the high priest of a cathedral. You figure that's gotta rate at least 5th level spellcasting,
It's at least a 3-star out of 5-star.
right?
I mean, all the interred agree it's at least a 3-star interment.
Here we go. That's the one I'm looking for, even though it's not exactly the right card, but it'll work for this.
It'll work.
It is a spell that I can cast, but
Okay.
not a spell, not one that I can cast often.
That's understandable. How large of a donation to your institution would be required for you to cast the spell anonymously on someone who lives in the city?
Well, it would be. I would be. I'm willing to heal anyone,
Okay.
but they have to approve of it first. So it
Well, no,
depends on
I-
who you're asking.
I understand that part. I'm just saying that for you to how large of a donation would you need for you to keep the source of the benefactor anonymous? Because I do feel you should be compensated for your time and effort.
Nathaniel, who are you?
I'm thinking.
But I with my wisdom, I'd probably know.
You should be able to suss this one out. I mean, if I can get there, anybody can.
The head priest, Igvard, mentioned if the subject of the spell was willing. I am under the impression that if John at the Adventuring Guild Hall wanted to be healed, he would have been healed by now.
Might not have thought of this angle.
Greater Restoration has 100 gold piece material component which is consumed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's actually what I was checking. I was checking how much the material cost, and
Yeah, it's
few
usually a
other
pretty
things.
expensive thing to get done,
yeah, like
especially for
you're normally
non-adventurers.
yeah, you're not it being a 5th level spell, and more often than not with those, when you do meet someone who's doing it, a lot of times they're trying to do it via a scroll or something, so they're not using their own personal stores for it.
Right.
So you're normally looking at a good amount of money, because if I remember right, to make those scrolls, it's a couple thousand gold. But anyway, back on topic.
Oh,
The material.
was asking to make a scroll. It was more of like, go heal
Right.
this person, but don't tell them who sent you.
Right.
Yeah.
No. It was more I was trying to figure out how much the spell was worth and how much he would actually charge. That's what I was
Two
doing.
entirely different numbers.
Correct. There are two entirely different numbers. To cast the spell is about 500 gold.
Okay.
Now, if it's for the person you just stated, I will tell you that right now he will refuse.
I'm not asking you to tell me why, but do you know why he would refuse?
He has not told me.
Okay, that's fair. Well, here's what I want to do. I want for when he is willing to get it done, for the reasonable yet fairly extravagant figure you just quoted me to not be an issue to him. Therefore, I would like to donate 500 gold to your institution, which will be earmarked for the covering the costs of the casting of the spell at such time as he is willing to get it done but doesn't necessarily have the money available.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that. We'll store it away and have the components put to the side for him if he does if or when he does decide to allow us to do that.
Done and dusted.
Deal with a lot of undead, do you?
I mean, where do you think we got the money?
Okay. I am not going to ask any further.
Okay. Well, I believe my work here is done then. Should we head back and see if everybody else is ready to go? Oh, wait, we're not all going back at the same time anymore because we're going to go from here to the adventure that I just bought while everybody else heads back to the town. Do you think they're going to be safe on the way back?
I mean, we can send someone with them, but I do believe that David and Krog would be able to defend themselves.
I mean, you saw what happened on the way up. I would disagree entirely. And those guys weren't even good.
Should we accompany them, or what? How are you feeling on this? Should we send someone with them?
How much longer would it take if we went down with them for a day and then went north to the adventure? I mean,
It took a day to get up here by wagon, so it would reasonably take longer to get back here. And by that point, the adventure may have expired due to unforeseen circumstances at this time. Either the rumors of the giant humanoids have been dispelled, or the giant humanoids were real and destroyed the farm, at which point the person
yeah.
Monarch, give me an intelligence check. Actually, if you have you're trained in history, do that.
I'm not trained in history.
All right, then just give me an intelligence.
Can I make an intelligence check? Because I'd like to roll a
Sure.
stat I'm good at.
Absolutely, you can.
Got an 18.
I
You
also have
both
an
do.
18.
So, from your recollection, yes, you were riding in a wagon. The wagon was not moving extremely fast.
Yeah, the
it
wagon
was
was
laid
moving at
down.
walking speed because it was surrounded
Right.
by walking people.
Because it was surrounded by people who were walking and also loaded down. So, if you were to travel here and do it at a faster pace, you would absolutely be able to and get here in, I believe, you would be able to cut off about a quarter of the travel time if you were to say go at a faster pace.
But basically, what we'd be looking at is if we head down south with them back to Dunwick, that's going to be a day, and then tomorrow we could make it to the farm.
Then tomorrow, yes, you'd be able to make it to the farm tomorrow. Probably a little bit before it's actually dark. So if you want to do something in town, you'd be able to, and then go to try and see what's going on at night. Because remember, this is happening at night, so you're checking to see what the creatures are.
Right.
So it is reasonable you'd be able to do it within the next 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
lose a day, but I don't think that's unreasonable to make sure that our friends make it home safe.
No. In which case, the only other thing I would be interested in doing is just learning a bit about the pantheon of Esnan.
Oh, while we're here. I forget his
Igvard.
name. Igvard.
Igvard, yes.
Bonus points. What is he?
Protus point. Oh.
What did Igvard roll?
Mario
He
Team.
didn't roll yet.
4. Igvard rolled a 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn
he rolled terrible. I love the fact that this one I cannot
This
roll
is
high for
so
this
good.
test.
This is
We make you
so.
great.
These are variance people.
Two people arguing is because of the portent.
I am unfortunately not sure what this soul is. He seems to be a creature that I am not familiar with.
That's okay. If he's unfamiliar with it too, it's fine.
Yours. No, I'm unfamiliar. I was formed into this state by magic, and I'm currently trying to figure out what exactly I am.
I would tell you that I can fix that, but I'm not sure I can.
We're working on a solution as we speak, so I appreciate your eagerness, but the situation is underway. I'm just trying to learn more about what I am while I am what I am, so that maybe that could be a clue to getting back to who I was. But I did have a question. We are newcomers and relatively unfamiliar. I'd be interested to learn about the pantheon of gods that you hold. Just simple things. I'm not particularly devout, but it would be helpful to learn more about where we
Were
are.
you looking for a particular type of deity?
I want to know just general details about all of them, and then potentially one will speak to me.
Okay. Well, the cathedral here is devoted to not necessarily a pantheon per se, but there are quite a few gods that people do pray to here. We do have a few, for the most part, though, because we have a lot of farmer folk around, we do have a lot of people who are devoted to fertility. There is...
Morden, did you invent a non-denominational cathedral?
What are you talking about?
Bless you. Bless your cotton socks.
None of the gods are made up. I will tell you that much. They're all real. I'm kidding. Let's see here. I just need to find the list that I had for them all.
Welcome to the episode where we ask Morton questions he's not prepared to answer.
Welcome to the episode where we ask Morton questions he prepared to answer and then erased the document before he saved it.
I cannot I absolutely cannot stand the fact that I literally had 30 pages of information for this freaking town. And as I'm going to deal with this, my computer cuts off, and the next thing you know, I have no pages for this town.
Save
So I'm making
as you
everything
go.
up as I
You've
go.
got to learn to save as
That
you go.
hurts.
Deuce, did you hear his screams of despair?
Oh, I felt a disturbance in the force, as if
I'm-
millions of words cried out in pain and were suddenly erased.
It was a scream that was suddenly cut off.
Much like his electricity, and that's why he lost it.
Ow. I hate you so much right now, second.
You're aiming low. You're aiming low.
Oh, I love my job.
You love your job. Is your job causing suffering for the DM?
My job is causing suffering for Morton specifically, whether he's GMing or not.
Oh dear.
It doesn't
Is
pay
that
well,
why
but
he
I gotta
got
tell you, the
trampled?
benefits are great.
Is that why he got stepped on in the face by a horse?
No, that was because Morton did something very stupid, but it probably didn't help any either. Probably didn't hurt any either. Where is it? I
I mean,
remember where the list was.
your father Smith would disagree about the hurting. I feel that hurt my face.
Father Smith says, ow, my face.
I'm gonna feel that in the morning.
Father Smith says, this place sucks. I want to go home.
He would absolutely say that.
Yes. He's in Ravenloft and no one will disagree. I decided a long time ago, because somebody brought up the question many moons ago. If the Vistani can travel in and out of Ravenloft, why do they keep going back? Because, like, everything they do in Ravenloft, they could easily do not in Ravenloft and just enjoy it more and be safer. So why do they
I do
even keep
really
going
like
back?
your explanation for that of they like Ravenloft as a safe space because they have that accord with Strahd.
Yeah. And
I really do like that.
basically, we came up to the idea that the reason why the Vistani keep going back and forth into Ravenloft and not when they could just stay somewhere safe is at some level, they like pointing and laughing at the locals. They're just
They're
like,
just very vain people.
Yep. Look at those guys wearing gray and brown. They can't do shit. They can't leave. Ha ha ha. And then walk out through the mists. So, yeah. So, I mean,
For
basically,
them to be so mean-spirited in the way that I run them. To me, they're very much revelers. They enjoy sharing stories around the fire. They enjoy
Yeah.
just experiencing life. And they don't have any particular grudges against people unless people cause harm to them or their families.
yeah, unless people start something.
Yeah, they don't start, it, but
No.
they will finish it.
Ram Ramensa.
And
Yeah.
They have their whole thing with Strahd that I'm not going to go into because you might get into it in Ravenloft. But they
Yeah.
have that whole thing, so they're in a very neutral position where it's just like he doesn't mess with us, so we don't mess with him. We're not going to help you mess with him if we can help it because we have that thing going on. But we're not going to cause you any intentional harm either
Right.
because you haven't done anything to us. And then it's very much this is the most comfortable domain of dread that we can experience because of our relationship to the Dark Lord.
They go to Ravenloft because it's just Fright Night at the amusement park.
It's just
All
like,
right. Sorry
oh,
about that.
shitty. That's okay.
We'll do. I'm going to use those two just mostly because I at least know a little bit about both of them.
Okay, good.
So you are brought to you are shown two statues of two different goddesses. You are shown the goddess of Frey, and you were shown the goddess Demeter.
Okay.
Ah. Interesting.
Depending on where you're from, these two are the most prayed to, mostly because they both encompass the harvest and agriculture and fertility in some cases, depending on how you perceive it. But these two are our most prevalent because, we have a lot of farmers and farm hands in the area.
Right.
If you were looking for something a little bit more to specific races, we do have some for each of the for many of the races, like Moradin. He's here, but he is also for many of the people in this area. The craftsmen mostly believe in him because we do have dwarves, but we don't have as many. But he is a god of smiths, and
Right.
so he covers most of those most of the creation.
All right, so that's 3. That's Frey, Demeter, and Moradin.
I bet you they
You-
don't have any Hypaxi gods.
No, probably not.
No,
What's the god of music?
Interesting. They've got Norse, Greek, and Faerun pantheon deities. My character would not know any of them, but that's interesting to me as a player.
Well, I mean, they also have. You could also say that they have Norse, Greek, and Norse. Just the last one is a saga subset and not an actual theological entity.
True.
well,
So, like, so far, all the ones we've seen are real world or real world infused. So, that's interesting. This is just players trying to dissect yourself.
so I don't actually have one specifically to music, but we do have one for revelry.
That works.
It would be damn it, how do I say his name? Because I'm smart and didn't read that. Dionysus.
Oh, Dionysus?
There you go. Okay.
Sometimes they call him Brachus, but those people are weird.
An R in there?
Sometimes I'm.
Yeah, because
Looks like a nice folk.
you wanted to go for Bacchus, not Brachus, but that's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go for Bacchus, but my brain did not want to work for me.
You wanted to go for Brachus, and you wound up with an extra Roman in there.
What lovely jelly donuts he serves.
So there is
that's-
one thing that you can say about him, though. He loves revelry, but sometimes his revelry can be dark.
Yes. Okay, well, that is interesting. That is, out of game from a meta perspective. That's 3 real world mythological creatures and one that you can argue could also be extrapolated to be a real world mythological creature. So we
Could
haven't.
also be like Hephaestus or something like that. Right?
Yeah. So, so we haven't met anything that is specifically
Fantastical.
fictional, fantastical. Yeah.
Um,
All right, we'll keep that in mind.
how many deities are in the cathedral as a whole?
You're seeing a lot. None of them have a giant statue to them. The statue is probably only about 7 feet on the when you're adding in the plinth that they're standing on. but you leave in my notes that I put down there were 30 in total.
30 in total.
Okay. That's interesting.
Another one that you could also say would be Corellian, because that one's the god of arts and magic.
Oh, so now we are specifically fictional. Okay.
You are seeing for the players' purposes, you are seeing a mixture of like racial gods. Like the dwarven god Moradin, the elves, the gnomes, and such like that. You are seeing them, but you are also seeing real world religions as well.
Gotcha.
Or previous ones.
Right,
Now
right.
you're not seeing whole pantheons here. Like you don't see their representation of Zeus or anything like that. Or you don't see Odin either, for that matter.
Yeah, we're just
But
seeing a salad bar of, pick
Correct.
and choose deities. Okay.
Yeah, basically wherever there's a gap, you kind of find something that fits there, for lack of a better word. And in some cases where there are a bunch that fall under the same category, they fall under different aspects of it. Like when you're talking about Frey versus Demeter, Frey is very much the life-giving portion of it, whereas Demeter is more the like going towards winter half of the harvest.
Right.
Like that setup. So a lot they do overlap, but their overlaps kind of are still designed in a way where they cover more than just what one of them would. I didn't word that well. I'm sorry.
I'm
But,
waiting to see if Miner and I are reading too much into it, because that's always an issue. If we're trying to solve a mystery that isn't actually a mystery, and that's why we can't come up with an answer. But that's something that will get played out over time, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Correct. That is something that absolutely could be played out over time. Possibly, maybe.
I want to look for any deities over, particularly the grave or death domains.
For death, you find Hel, Hel. And you also find the Raven Queen.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I sort of approach the one of the Raven Queen and ask after her. And this deity, who are they?
All right, one moment as I pull her up, because I know she was on my list, but I don't remember all the information about her.
Noctis says, "These are our most popular models."
Yeah. Right? This is the matron of death, the Raven Queen. If you she is not a god of well, I won't say she is a god of good, but she's not a god of evil either. She despises undead, except for occasionally. Occasionally, she's okay with revenant, but that's more because she's normally the one sending them out, from the understanding that I have from the text. But a lot of times when someone is buried, if they are not following the burial style of Hell's Court, they are being buried in the way of the Raven Queen, which is normal interment for us, because that's normally who do it for. But there are some people who prefer the Viking or Norse style burials, which in some cases is a pyre, but and in other cases, if like here where we have access to boats, sometimes it's that. But those are, I think, more just to be showy than anything else, and have nothing to do with the god in general.
Igbar
Or goddess.
specifically is the word Norse.
He does.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, mostly because I couldn't think of a better word at the moment.
That's fair.
So
Okay, so like more northern deities.
I mean, lots of worlds have a Norse.
mm-hmm. I'm using that. I'm using it unfortunately because not taking that one back up again. But yeah,
that was a
I'm
question more than anything else.
yeah
Like-
I'm using the word more to cover the understanding less because that is actually what he would have said. I
Right.
don't have the wording I would have used, unfortunately, in front of me. I have to rewrite it all.
No worries. I'm sure you'll have it next week. Go do 30 pages again. I feel your pain. I sympathize.
feels
I've
like
done it.
Just do the 30 pages just as we are about to leave town.
Yeah, I'm gonna create 30 pages just for you guys to never come back in and ever ask questions.
Because you
again
know, if
about
you did it again, we'd never come back. And if you don't do it again, then we will come back and you still won't have it and we'll make fun of you. You can't win.
You're not wrong.
I'm not familiar with this deity, but something about her seems familiar. It's odd.
I mean, have you died before? Because that's normally when some people tell me that they've seen her or thought they saw her.
Not as far as I'm aware. It's just where I come from. There's a goddess similar in orientation, though not a raven queen. More of a knightess.
Interesting.
And what god would that be? Or goddess, excuse me.
Her name was Orena, known as the Pale Knightess. She had a couple of symbols associated with her, mainly a long sword with a flat end used to sever the life of someone. Her domain was mostly, and I'm remembering what little I know because I was not particularly devout. Her whole ordeal was honorable death, making sure that people were properly buried so that they would not come back as undead, and making sure that people who would cause harm to others are struck down before that harm can be fulfilled.
I am not familiar with that deity, but that sounds like a good one.
She was an interesting one, and there were a few that spoke to me more than others, and she was one of the ones that I remembered. I'm also unfamiliar with Moradin, was it? But there is something similar to them as well. Strangely enough, also gods of crafting, but instead of one dwarf, it was three brothers, all collectively known as Sion. And there was a brother from the mountains, a brother from the hills, and a brother from the deep underground. The one from underground would blow the bellows of the forge, the one from the mountain would hammer the ore, and the one from the hills would detail it in fine scrawling so that the finest pieces were made through cooperation and then couldn't be made by any one of them individually.
I am also not familiar with these three, but if I do remember correctly, there are three gods to dwarves as a whole. You would be Moradin, the smith, or I think they also, I believe dwarves sometimes call him the Soul Forger. Grungi, their god of war. He unfortunately is not represented here. We do have a couple of gods of war. He points over at two other statues on the far side. And I believe the last one was called Logar. Let me make sure. Yep. Lodagar, which he was the god of the deep dwarves. So there are three dwarves, and they do interact with each other, but more often than not, when you look at them, you're most will speak of Moradin unless they are deep, and in which case they would talk of Loragar. But even still, you can normally you normally can even use Moradin for the deep dwarves as well. They'll grudgingly accept it.
Interesting. Like I said, there's similarities, but also differences. Yes. I apologize for taking up so much of your time.
No, not at all. I am willing to speak with anyone.
You know, I had never thought before that the deities that we worshipped on Kryn could also be the same deities in other places. Like, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Just, it was never anything that ever had a reason to occur to me because, I mean, I had never actually intended to leave Kryn.
I don't think that any of us ever intended or even considered the possibility of leaving the worlds that we were on.
I certainly never did, but I also never expected to be a drow. And here we are.
Here we are indeed. Well, I suppose back to Darkwick, and then...
Sokoran is a bit bored and he's going out, and he's just outside drumming on the parvis of the cathedral.
All right. Well, does that mean we should get going then?
I believe so. I have nothing more that would keep us here.
Me neither. And I think I've spent enough money in one day.
I concur.
But at least I bought us a nice adventure.
I believe that was the best money you've spent today.
Stay safe
No,
and safe
well,
travels.
I believe that the gift you got for John was the best money you spent today.
Hopefully he will choose to use it. And I mean, if not, hopefully he's okay with not choosing to use it. I mean, who am I to say?
Well, if there ever comes a need for it elsewise,
Exactly.
it will be there. We'll call it future planning. It was very wise of you to do so.
Morden,
Yes.
right.
Nathan also has a sudden thought that John could potentially be field testing for the armor design.
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
I know you don't, and that's what makes it so luscious. Okay, we can go. I have to go back to my workshop now.
Yes, let's get the tower in order and then return for that wonderful adventure you've bought for us.
Yes.
So after you guys leave the cathedral, you head back to the merchant's quarter to pick up Krog and David. And Ilvizor, Mr. Cardi comes with you as well. And you all head
Adventure.
back to the village of Dunwick.
Just before that, we go to the inn and unplug
Yeah, we
Phelan.
we,
3
we,
minutes.
we,
Wrap up
we
the
unplug
door.
Phelan
Back.
and pick up Grandpa and throw them both into
Yeah.
the back of the empty cart.
Yep. And the cart makes better time on the way back.
And on the way back across the bridge, we grab Billy and we throw his unconscious butt in the back of the cart too.
Yeah, because you gotta make sure you take your toll goblin with you.
Yep.
I'm gonna run him over.
I don't recommend that. I hear they go squish.
I mean, Loxodons don't, so who knows?
I don't know. But we are going to wrap up there and come back to the adventure of dealing with what is this, out in my field.
Nice.
Um,
Is this that I am now?
I don't know if we'll ever find out. No one's actually rolled high enough,
I
or
hope
maybe you just haven't talked to the right person yet.
it is my favorite running joke.
Sycorax, if somebody actually manages to roll a natural 20 and figure out what he is, you immediately have to divine the die roll to anything else.
I'd be honest with you, since you've said it, that is actually the case. They have to roll a natural 20 to know what he is. Because it was a 17, I gave him the I kind of think I saw you in a dream once.
Yeah, I figured with that getting that off of 17, it had to be like a 19 or 20 thing. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, if that ever happens, you have to divine it down to like an 8. Nope, he's just never allowed to figure out what this is. That's his running subplot now.
It's my running subplot, and it's also the running subplot that creates the merch. Because
So
we're
now,
gonna go down the list of all the names. I'm collating a list in my notes.
Nice.
what you guys got to do is you got to get to 6 different names. That way, on one session, just as a joke, I change you all into it, and you
I'm at
all
5.
say a different name.
I'm at 5.
We're almost
All right.
there.
I've got Hypaxi, Hippo Shifter, Were Hippo, Hippogon, and Hippork.
What about Variant Hippo?
Variant Hippo. Bipedal.
That is so. The meta is so deep on that. I love it.
Hippo variant.
Oh no.
So painful.
Alrighty.
Gonna
But-
select
Or
6
you
for-
could just borrow one that came up in the Spelljammer campaign, which was peanut butter.
Well, I made that joke earlier, remember? Because Krog rolled, I think Krog rolled fairly high on his, and he said, I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking of peanut butter when I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'll put that down too. Peanut
All right,
butter.
there we go. Joke
It's
never
on the-
gets old.
The joke is
Unlike
only ever
the
going to grow.
actual source material. The source
But
material is called peanut butter.
so with that one, that is the end of this session, and at the end of the session, we always pick a person who should get a fate point. We have Billy the Spud up in the corner, where you can go with Sorax for his drumming, Nathan for his trying to piss off the Lich, or Monarch for asking the hard questions about deities. So far, we got a Badger and we got a Sokrin.
Minor for making more than sweat. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping no one was gonna ask questions about that. I'm gonna be honest. I was hoping it was gonna be the next time you come into town when I had time to figure it out.
Nathan for trying to piss off a lich. Nice.
I also feel like honorable mention. Kane should get one just because he tried. He was here for as long as he could be, and then he left when he needed to.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honorable mention to Kane for playing through 3/4 of the session and then running to work because of his new schedule.
Damn.
Honestly, if I had 10,000, I need 3,000 more to give him a fate point. hold on to that for now. Though.
Hey, Ari, throw a fate point at Kane. I know you got the points.
There we go.
Or more than, because he also has all the points. All the points.
Maybe Greg, because he couldn't follow us to the cathedral because of the power grid being too short.
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, that's terrible. I would give Phelan a fate point, but Phelan's already got 3. He's ahead of everybody.
Honestly, Psycho should get a fate point for that joke.
I don't have enough. No worries. You'll get them. Just takes time. Honestly, I was almost considering continuing the running gag on the on the Lich name and going back past the stone building with all of the runes carved into it and discussing how it was very Alberic.
We'll make a stone statue of 2 orbs and a long pole, and we'll call that Alaric.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because it rhymes.
Yeah. Anyway, right now we have 4-way tie. We got an ace, we got a Sokran, we got minor, and we got a Nathan.
All right, so the
yeah,
first person that votes for a free fate point to anyone else that has already been voted for pretty much seals the deal. So, Culprit, which one of us gets a point? Do you want to give it to Sycorax? Do you want to give it to Minor? Do you want to give it to myself? Or do you want to give it to Ace for not being here? Or, yeah, that would be the list. I was going to mention Kane, but then that would just be one more person to be at 1, and also we already have a...
It's 1 for next time.
And we have an ace.
There we go. So Ace gets 1, and he doesn't know why.
Yep.
Nope.
That'll be his fun fact for next time, so he'll be prepared.
And we'll just have to keep saying, you know what you did. No, I don't.
I was sleeping through the whole thing, Nathan.
I was being a grumpy grandpa and sleeping everywhere and anywhere I could.
Because he didn't do.
Yes, he did. Of course.
Of course he did something wrong, Ari. Of course he did. That's why he got the fate point.
Next session is going to be the cutaway of Badger and Phelan and Billy on their adventures while we're walking around town, because after we left them at their inn, they snuck out and did something else.
I demand it. First half hour, 45 minutes. They just get they get a very short one shot. I don't even care what it is.
And then at the end, they have to pretend to be asleep while we throw them into the wagon.
All right, everybody, that's going to be the end of the show. So thank you all very much for watching. If you are watching this live on Twitch, if you are watching this on the YouTubes, please be a good werewolf, like and subscribe. This is aired on Thursdays on our Twitch channel, Twitch/Second Class Elitist, all spelled out. If you want to come by and watch this campaign live, come by on Thursdays. If you want to come by and watch me, GM Morden, and a bunch of other people in a Gothic adventure storyline, come by on Tuesdays. If you want to watch a Drakenheim cosmic horror exploration setting game, come by on Saturdays. And if you want to watch a Spelljammer game, come by on Sundays, because we got a lot of different campaigns running. So everybody, thank you very much for being here. Make sure you check those out. Do all the things, tell your friends, share this around. I really, really appreciate it. And we are going to get out of here. So we're going to give everybody a crazy wave, and we will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.